All season long, they have been sizzling. The Edmonton Eskimos have blazed a trail through the CFL. Last week, they went to Calgary to take on the Stampeders. Tracy Ham found the end zone twice on the ground. And twice more through the air. The Eskimos took their provincial rivals apart. The result? Edmonton has the best record in all of the CFL. The BC Lions can only look on with envy. Their season has been one of disappointment, of mistakes, of injuries, and mostly of losses. Finally, last week, the Lions broke loose against Ottawa. BC has hit the win column. Is it too late to save a playoff spot? Tonight, two teams burning to win meet at Commonwealth Stadium. The Lions and the Eskimos are next on TSN. TSN presents the CFL Game of the Week. Tonight's game from Edmonton is brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it. It's the Lions in Tracy's den. BC comes to Edmonton to face the red-hot Eskimos on a gorgeous day for football in north-central Alberta. The Lions and Eskimos tee up the second half of the season right here on TSN. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Commonwealth Stadium in the CFL Game of the Week. I'm Gord Miller. Tonight, we may very well see a ground war. In the BC Lions, you've got John Volpe, a man on pace to score a record 24 touchdowns this season. On the Eskimo side of the ball, you got a team that loves to run it. In fact, they do it more often and better than any other team in the CFL. It's kind of a throwback, and it's pretty fun to watch. It should be tonight. For more on this evening's game, let's go now to the press box with John Wells and Leif Pedersen.
Right you are, Gord. No secret these two teams want to run the football tonight, and that means that the outcome will likely be decided by the big guys up front. Right, Leif?
Oh, you know, John, every week you usually hear, well, whoever wins the battle of the trenches is going to win this game, and sometimes it's true, sometimes not. Tonight it is extremely meaningful because obviously both teams want to establish their running game and try and dominate the game by the run. So that means the big guys up front, whoever win the little individual battles, that they will probably end up winning the big war. So in light of last week, what Edmonton did on the ground, BC is in tough because Edmonton's running game is pretty good.
Excellent. 226 yards against the Calgary Stampeders last week. And here are the guys who did it. Marshall, Ham, and Michael Souls for a total of 226 yards. Souls leading the way with 105. So it's three Eskimo runners against one lone runner for the BC Lions. It hardly seems fair. Can John Volpe respond?
Well, he's the league's leading rusher. I mean, he's a tremendous running back. But, you know, when you look at balance, I kind of like the team that has three guys that can do it. So you never know where they're coming from. But BC's a team that can line them all up and just run one back at you and be very successful.
Offense hasn't been a major problem for the BC Lions this season. Defense has. Now that they've got Barrett back and Ray Alexander, it could be a pretty good night as the Lions look for their second straight win. Week 10 of the CFL kicks off at Commonwealth in Edmonton. The Lions and the Eskimos remain at opposite ends of the standings in the CFL West. Ron Lancaster has the Eskimos in top spot, 7 wins in 9 games. Lions coach Bob O'Billovich hopes for 2 straight to keep the Lions playoff hopes alive, and we're ready to roar at Commonwealth tonight. There's Shirley Muldowney. I don't know if she's going around the track or not, Lee.
Well, I think she'll be a little faster than the horse in Calgary if she does.
Okay, ready to roar at Commonwealth as the BC Lions kick off. Taken by Craig Ellis, and Ellis is stopped at the 33-yard line. Can you hear yourself think? 7-yard return after a 52-yard kickoff. And Tracy Ham, player of the week for week 9 in Canadian football.
And the
heads out onto the field.
Sorry, John. The most impressive thing about Tracy Ham has to be the touchdown to interception ratio. In a league where you throw the ball so many times and are so vulnerable to interceptions, Tracy Ham has just done a super job in not turning the ball over this year.
The Eskimos begin at the 30-yard line. 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the top of your screen. And it's well read by the BC Lions. Here's the way the Eskimos line up, with Dermott and Morris at the tackles, Verschoval and Ambrosi at guard, Conop in the center. The outside receivers, Henry Williams, Jim Sandusky. Inside at slot back, Craig Ellis, Chris Armstrong. The runners are Souls and Marshall. It'll be a gain of 3 yards after the Blake Marshall carry.
I really believe tonight one thing that Tracy Ham has to be cognizant of is the fact that Henry Williams and Chris Armstrong really haven't been involved in the offense for the last month, and I think it's important to get the ball to Henry Williams early, get it to him quickly, and let him try and run with it, and of course get Armstrong involved early too. Those 2 guys need to be much more active than they've been.
On 2nd and 7, Ham goes to the far side of the field and comes up short of the first down. He needed to get to the 40-yard line. Henry Williams made the catch, and he was stopped by the newcomer Joe Miro, playing right corner for the Lions, with some help from Brett Young.
So what the BC Lions obviously would like to do is build upon the good things that happened in their win last week against the Ottawa Rough Riders, and on the opening series, a team that is 3rd in the league in total offense, they were able to shut down rather easily. So a nice start for the BC Lion defense.
Pretty good average for Glenn Harper, stepping across the 25 to get his first punt away. Rico Cartwright on the return. And he had trouble hanging on to it, but steps out of bounds safely, and the Lions end up with decent field position for Danny Barrett. Second game back for Barrett, and he was great last week against the Ottawa Rough Riders.
And those numbers you see are after 4 games. This is his 5th game of the season.
Barrett off targets. Intended it for Mike Trevathan. Steve Rhoda Huskers and Jim Mills are the tackles. Inside, Jamie Terrace and Leo Groenwagen. The center is veteran Ian Sinclair. Ray Alexander back for the 3rd time this season, with Darren Flutie on the other side, Matt Clark, Mike Trevathan, and the runners are John Volpe in particular and Ryan Hansen occasionally. 2nd and 10, Lions at the 33. The blitz is on, and on the sidelines, Barrett makes contact. Ray Alexander, the catch, forced out by Eddie Thomas.
And Ray Alexander is the most important change that the Lions have been able to make. A good move that time on Eddie Thomas to the outside, but with his presence back in the lineup, that gives the receiving corps some balance, and the defense can't just overload to one side. A good job by the offensive line to pick up the blitz and give Danny Barrett the necessary time to throw.
1st and 10, and John Volpe has his first carry of the night. A couple of yards for Volpe, who leads the CFL in rushing. He was met by Dwayne Odom, number 36.
He is the league's leading rusher. Those numbers indicate 626 yards. Bobilovich feels he has to handle the ball up to 25 times a game, including running and receiving. Maybe 5-6 catches a game, and the rest on the ground. So you should see a pretty active John Volpe tonight.
Just 1 yard for Volpe on the previous play, and he couldn't hang on to the pass from Danny Barrett. Enos Jackson covering on John Volpe. Early in the opening quarter at Commonwealth in Edmonton. No scores so far as Barrett takes the offense to the sidelines. And Lou Pasaglia prepares to punt for the first time tonight. Bisaglia will step across his 35 to get this third down kick away. And no play for Doug Parrish back at the Eskimo 25. A 38-yard punt for Lou Bisaglia. Eskimos 1st and 10 when we return to Commonwealth. Number 57, O.J. Brigance, had a great season last year for the BC Lions and leads again in tackles so far in 1992. And there's the way they line up defensively in British Columbia with Hill and Scribner on the outside. That's a move for Scribner, who played inside last week. Johnson and Poe. The linebackers, Wetmore, O.J. Brigance, and Canadian Doug Hocking. And here's the secondary this week. Who's new back there? Joe Miro had a tryout with the Seattle Seahawks. Everyone else has been around a little time, but they have had in total 18 players, maybe even 19 players line up for the Lions in the secondary so far this season.
It really has been difficult for that group because you have to understand the guys you're playing with and know the moves that they like to make. You're making quick calls on the run, and that has been so difficult for this secondary. But, you know, as a group, collectively, this is the best group that they've had on the field this year. And Brian Smith, you and I talked about him in the CFL report preceding our game telecast, and he is a hitter. You watch him tonight when Ellis and Armstrong are going through the middle. You're going to see some collisions for sure.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos from the Edmonton 25. Michael Soles, number 32, got the call. Blake Marshall has been replaced by Chris Johnstone. Marshall was shaken up on the first sequence. We'll keep you updated on that. Soles had a great week last week against the Stampeders. 105 yards and 14 carries.
What the BC Lions defense is going to do against that Edmonton run is everybody is responsible for a gap. So that means you have to be disciplined along that front seven. Your gap, you have to have it and play discipline to get to that spot.
3 receivers to the near side on 2nd and 7. Ham looks in this direction and finds Jim Sandusky. Sandusky in front of Andre Francis. And that'll be an Eskimo first down. Sandusky leading the Eskimos in receiving with 679 yards so far.
Bit of a rub there from the inside receiver, Chris Armstrong, for Sandusky to try and come underneath him. He does a good job. Jim Sandusky averaging a little over 15 yards a catch here. That is about his career average. That's what you expect from him.
Several 1,000-yard seasons. 6 receiver package in for the Eskimos on 1st and 10. Edmonton 38. Ham fired quickly, intending that for Craig Ellis. Slightly behind the slot back.
Well, you know, I talked about Brian Smith, the middle safety. He's a guy that will stick his nose up here. This is a quick pass. Now watch how fast number 32, there he is. Watch how fast he gets into the screen and into the action.
Looks like Blake Marshall will be back shortly. He is on the sidelines right now, but doesn't look to be in too much difficulty. It'll be 2nd and 10 Eskimos. 38-yard line. 6 receiver package in for Tracy Ham. He looks to the far side. One man open. It's Henry Williams. He'll be tough to catch. Williams simply powers his way down for the touchdown. Henry Williams and Joe Miro knows how fast Henry Williams is now. A 72-yard touchdown.
Joe Miro makes the cardinal mistake a rookie corner might do. Look, he gets caught to the inside, and with a receiver of Williams' speed, you have to force him back to the inside to get some help. There's no help when Williams breaks to the outside. Clear sailing with his speed. No one will catch him. A 72-yard catch and run. And already the BC Lions find themselves in trouble. A rookie mistake in that secondary, something that's plagued them all season long.
4th touchdown of the season for Henry Williams. At least the 4th touchdown receiving. He has a couple on punt returns.
Well, it's interesting. In the opening series, I said Henry Williams had to be more involved in this offense. He has too much explosiveness not to get him the football. This is his 2nd reception, and this is a hook pattern. I mean, he's caught the ball about 15 yards downfield, but hey, watch what happens. Just a little move to the outside, and it's all over. So a 15-yard catch becomes a 72-yard touchdown. he is a weapon that they have to go to time and time again.
Henry Williams beat Joe Miro, and Brian Smith, the safety, came over and couldn't catch up. So Williams has the Eskimos in front of the British Columbia Lions, 7-0 early in the opening quarter. How fast is the Giz?
Oh, I don't know speed-wise. He's like a 4.2, I think. He's fast.
Out to the 35. And the Lions will begin with decent field position once more. Tackle made by Mike McLean. The return 11 yards for Rico Cartwright. And there's the guy who returns punts better than anyone in CFL history. He has 12 CFL punt return records. A couple this season, a couple of punt return touchdowns. Most yards, 1440. Most TDs one game. Most TDs career. And most TDs in one season. Last year he had 5. And it was a tough welcome to Canadian football for Joe Miro out of LSU. John Volpe. He goes off tackle in the running. Tough against the Eskimos there with Willie Pless standing right in his way, number 39.
Pretty no secret to what Edmonton will do on defense against the run. They know the BC Lions like to trap a lot, so the 3 front linemen, Goods, Davidson, and Lewis, they're going to also take gap control. That means they go to an area, and then, of course, it's up to that tremendous linebacking core led by Willie Pless to make most of the tackles, as Pless did right there. And the secondary, well, Trent Brown, he'll play the middle safety. You won't see him in a lot of man-to-man coverage, but the other 4 are excellent.
2nd down and 8. Barrett has time. And he has Darren Flutie. Flutie gets to the 50-yard line. Inside Eskimo territory, and Enos Jackson over to make the tackle. Flutie's first catch of the night and his 45th of the season. That for 23 yards.
Boy, he and Jim Sandusky are so similar in their styles. They both average right at 15 yards a catch. They're technically so good. Darren Flutie with the hooks, the outs, the ins. He works the defensive back well. And, you know, in 2nd and 8 situations, he's a guy you'd love to go to.
This is 1st and 10, and John Volpe breaks it for a 1st down. Volpe inside the 35 and is forced out near the Eskimo 22. Finally pushed out by right cornerback Damian Lyons. 27 for Volpe. Here's how it looks.
Jim Mills has been an all-Canadian tackle. Now they pull both Groenewegen and Mills. They come across. Watch the kick-out block that Jim Mills gets. I believe it's on Dwayne Odom, number 36. Oh, there it comes right there on Larry Ruck. And that springs John Volpe for the extra yardage into the secondary. But Jim Mills came a long way for a big man to make a key block.
So the Lions are set up at the Eskimo 21 on 1st down. Barrett looks one way, goes the other, and Alexander can't bring it down. Slightly high for Ray Alexander in front of Enos Jackson. Alexander at 6'4" has got great reach.
Well, he and Danny Barrett, in the few games they've been together, have developed a pretty good chemistry so far. That ball just out of the outstretched arms of Alexander, but good protection up front for Danny Barrett to throw. Initially, he wanted to throw a quick 3-stepper, but it just didn't develop, and that line gave him the extra time to look to his secondary receiver.
2nd and 10. Lions at the Eskimo 21. Barrett onto the coverage this time. Alexander couldn't hang on against Lions. So after a couple of big plays, including a 27-yard run by John Volpe, the Lions will be forced to settle for 3.
I think it was a pretty impressive drive to answer that touchdown by Henry Williams, too. And Bob Abilovich, in our conversation with him this morning, indicated that he and Danny Barrett have talked all week about being patient against this Edmonton defense. It's a defense that plays a lot of zone coverage, and you have to be patient against it.
Lou Pasaglia has his first points of the night. And his 9th field goal of the season. Pasaglia hitting around 60%. BC settles for 3. Edmonton has 7. And that's the score midway through the first quarter at Commonwealth. Running back John Volpe of the BC Lions is on target for a couple of CFL records. If, in fact, he can keep up his current pace, he leads the league in touchdowns and in yards. He has 209 yards receiving. His kickoff returns are right up there, and he is just having a super season being attended to on the Lion bench right now. As we await the BC Lion kickoff with the Eskimos leading 7-3 first quarter at Commonwealth in Edmonton. Julio Caravana gets it down near the 22. Mark Scott's leading the tacklers, his 17-yard return.
No, I think it's imperative for Tracy Ham tonight to throw the long ball and throw it in the first quarter here. Now, he's got a guy like Joe Miro a little nervous. Miro's been beaten for a touchdown. But Edmonton predominantly likes to run the 12 to 15-yard pass routes. That's their bread and butter. But teams like to settle up on Edmonton. They know that. They play them tight. So Tracy Ham, whether he completes it or not, I think should air one out early in the game to try and give his receivers a little extra room. See how tight the BC secondary is playing them?
On first down, Tracy Ham airs it out for Armstrong. Coverage by Tracy Gravely, number 3. 6 receiver set.
You know, they didn't complete the pass, but really, I mean, you love to complete it, obviously. But he did the right thing. He's established something. He's established the fact that, hey, we're going to try and go deep on you guys. If you want to come up and play us that tight, we're going to throw over the top of you, and sooner or later, we're going to hit the big play. So hopefully that gives his receivers a little more room.
And Ham will operate from the shotgun once more. This is 2nd and 10. Eskimos at the 40-yard line, leading by 4 at 7-3. Ham gets some pressure now on 2nd and long, throwing on the run. And he's picked off at the 55-yard line. Andre Francis, number 1, coming over from his left corner spot. First turnover of the night goes to the BC Lions. Not so sure Sandusky didn't slip on the play. He looked to be the intended receiver.
The BC Lions get a fair bit of pressure on Tracy Ham. Ham initially wanted to throw quick to Blake Marshall. When he was covered, now he has to scramble. And just as Stu Hill was getting there, he threw the ball back across his body into a lot of traffic. And sometimes you get away with it. That time Tracy Ham didn't. Andre Francis gets the pick, and the BC Lions, after a successful drive the last time they had their hands on the football, get it back in a hurry.
9th interception given up by Tracy Ham this season. On first down, Barrett for Ryan Hansen, and Hansen has a first down for the BC Lions. He is inside the Eskimo 45 and stopped by safety Trent Brown.
Fun for Ryan Hansen to get his hands on the football. He really doesn't get to touch it too much. That's only his 8th catch of the year. John Volpe is the focal point in their running and receiving attack out of the backfield, but a well-executed screenplay, and that's a good call against an Edmonton defense that in the past month has played it pretty soft.
Lions 1st and 10 at the Eskimo 41. The pitch to Volpe. He tries the near side and is forced out by Larry Ruck, number 47, the Eskimo middle linebacker. Very happy with the play of Larry Ruck in the middle so far this season.
Boy, Ryan Hansen, you know, he caught the ball in the last play, and now watch what he does leading John Volpe on the pitch. Ryan Hansen absolutely destroys number 36, Dwayne Odom. There you see it right at the bottom of your screen. Now that gets Volpe to the outside, and boy, Ryan Hansen, what a block that was.
4-yard gain on 2nd and 6. Barrett over the middle, and he'll have a first down at the 30-yard line. Pless and Ruck covering on Darren Flutie, number 82.
Darren Flutie, the middle receiver in the trips package, and he just settles into an open area. Hey, there was really no room at all to get the ball in there, but Barrett had confidence that he's a good zone receiver, Flutie is. He can find the spot, stay there. Barrett just threw it to a spot, expecting Flutie to be there, and he was.
3 receivers to the far side of the field, and they hand off to John Volpe. Coming across behind the tackle, and Volpe grabs about 4 yards, met by Willie Pless, number 39.
You You want to see the heart and soul of an Edmonton defense? Look at the numbers from last week against Calgary. Boy, those two fellows patrol the inside with tremendous authority. You know, Danny Bass retired. He had a tremendous career with Edmonton at linebacking corps, but Larry Ruck has come in and filled his spot unbelievably well this year.
The gain for Volpe is spotted at 5, and this is 2nd down and 5 more to go as Volpe makes the catch, and there's a penalty marker down. Stephen Jordan was covering on John Volpe and had him surrounded almost immediately after he caught the ball. Referee tonight is David Ewell. And the holding call goes against the British Columbia Lions. 3:17 to go in the opening quarter with the Eskimos in front. 7-3. So this will be 3rd and 5. So the Lions have had a couple of drives that have moved efficiently inside Eskimo territory and stalled rather quickly. Now, Saglia connected on the field goal last time.
And the good news is, though, they get the turnover on the interception by Andre Francis, and now the offense has a chance to score points from that turnover.
And Lou Pasaglia is 2 for 2. A 1-point ball game at Commonwealth at Edmonton, with the Eskimos leading the BC Lions 7-6. 3 minutes to go, first quarter.
Protecting Joe Miro is the big question right now on the BC sideline. He got burned by the gizmo for the touchdown earlier. BC switched to a zone-type defense. At one point, they found themselves with linebacker Doug Hocking covering Gizmo. They don't want that. They just had a meeting on the sidelines to discuss how they can combine their coverages so that the rookie Miro gets some help, but they don't get mismatches like they had on the last series. It's a concern, and it's a headache that Bob Obilovich has had all season long with new players in his backfield.
Hocking on Gizmo, that is not even fair.
No, I don't. The sound of it makes me shudder. I don't know. Tough to protect a guy back in the secondary, especially a corner. I mean, you can zone and roll him up a little bit, but really, a corner has to play, and if he's having a bad night, you just have to suffer through it.
Craig Ellis. He's to the 35. And stopped there by O.J. Brigance. 17 yards on the return, 57 yards. The kickoff by Julio Caravata. Well, one interception is the only blemish for Tracy Ham so far. One touchdown, the big one to Henry Williams to give the Eskimos a 7-0 lead. The Lions have come back to get within one on a couple of Lou Pasaglia field goals. 1st and 10 Eskimos at the 35. 3 receivers far side of the field. And Johnstone gets the call. It's number 83, Chris Johnstone.
Chris Johnstone, the ball carrier. All got their hit by Clinton Schindler. Looks like Michael Soles came up with a little football.
Soles recovering the Johnstone fumble. 2:12 to go in the opening quarter. Tracy Ham comes to the near side for Michael Soles, and he stopped short of the first down. Good tackle by Doug Hocking, number 90. Hocking lines up at one of the linebacker spots for the Lions.
Well, Doug Hocking will go to the wide side of the field. Paul Wetmore will go to the short side for the simple reason that Doug Hocking has more speed to cover to the field, and this is a perfect example of it. Soles has the ball quickly in the flat, but Doug Hocking, number 90, has the speed to get there and haul him down short of the first down. I mean, good strategy on the part of the Lions. They know the abilities of their players, and they're putting them in the right spots.
The Eskimos go gambling on 3rd and 1. They'll have to get across the 45-yard line. Tracy Ham, good fake, and Ham squirts around the corner and gets the first down by himself. Penalty markers are down after the tackle. Brett Young leading the BC Lion tacklers, and we'll see what the infraction is. Penalty goes against the Lions. And it was piling on unnecessary roughness after the tackle was made on Tracy Ham. So the Eskimos get out across the 50-yard line into BC territory as a result, with 1:02 to go in the opening quarter. Ham handing out to Michael Souls. He'll have the first down, and yards to spare as Souls takes it all the way down to the BC Lion 30. Finally stopped by Brigance and Francis. 19 yards for Souls.
Watch the huge hole. Watch Chris Morris to tackle. Pass block and sets. That brings everybody to the outside. He kicks out. Marshall leads up for Michael Souls, and a huge hole is created, but it's a kind of a draw trap where they get the defensive lineman coming upfield, and there was a great hole created by Chris Morris.
Eskimos are now 1st and 10 at the 30, and stopped short of the first down. Michael Souls, he ran into O.J. Brigance, number 57.
And really, O.J. Brigance is going to be the key to this defense tonight, and if they can control the running game of Edmonton, I don't think in their wildest dreams they can shut it down, but Brigance with his speed is going to have to really patrol from tackle to tackle, and if BC's defense is going to have a good night, I'd say O.J. Brigance has to have at least 12 tackles.
Michael Souls lost a yard in the previous play. This will be 2nd and 11. The Eskimos now move back to the BC 31. Ham just gets it away, looking deep. And no catch. Sandusky on the far side with coverage by Joe Miro, number 18.
And don't think that Tracy Ham's not going into Joe Miro's area. Really, Sandusky was in behind him, and it was a poor throw, or Miro was once again in huge trouble.
3rd down, the Eskimos likely looking for a field goal. When we return, the first quarter is over with Edmonton up by 1. The BC Lions hanging in so far against the Edmonton Eskimos, down by a point. Edmonton with a chance to increase the lead. Sean Fleming has been good on his last 5 field goal attempts, and make that 6 for 6 for Sean Fleming. Had a bit of a slow start, Leaf, but he's had a good 2 weeks against the Calgary Stampeders.
You know, we talked to Ron Lancaster throughout the course of the season so far, and of course, were you worried about Sean Fleming? And at one point, I think he was really concerned about their field goal production, and after he kicked 5 in a row, we said to Ronnie this morning, are things a little better? Are you a little more relaxed with Sean Fleming? He says, no, I will not be relaxed with our kicking game until the end of the year. And I think that's true with a young kicker. He has to improve himself and establish that he can be consistent over a whole season's basis. And of course, it's going to get a little chillier out here in the next few months. So I think Ron Lancaster will rest easy until the season's over, and Sean Fleming has had a good year.
Always nice to be at Commonwealth Stadium, and so nicely welcomed as we get the second quarter underway with the Edmonton Eskimos leading the BC Lions 10-6 now. Sean Fleming adding to the Eskimo point total with a 38-yard field goal. The ensuing kickoff now taken at the 15-yard line. This is Rico Cartwright, and Cartwright gets out near the 45, but there's a penalty marker down. Damian Lyons leading the Eskimo tacklers. And they'll likely take this one back for a blocking infraction. Lions have had a little tough luck on that. Holding against the BC Lions being indicated by referee Dave Ewell. So it turned out to be a pretty good run for Rico Cartwright. Doesn't turn out quite that way as they take it back to the 15. Too much to differentiate between these two teams in the opening quarter. 121 in total yards for the Eskimos compared to 97 for the BC Lions. Time of possession within about 30 seconds. Let's see what Danny Barrett can do starting at his 15. Good fake, and the pass goes to Ryan Hansen. Fake to John Volpe, and Hansen is out near the 30-yard line. That'll be a BC first down. Trent Brown, the Eskimos safety, making the stop.
Second time that Danny Barrett's had success running the screen against Edmonton, and Good play action, freezes everybody. Now watch the block. Ian Sinclair at the left of your screen on Stephen Jordan. That is the key block to spring Ryan Hansen loose. Pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. So they get themselves a little breathing room, but second time they've had success with the screen. Look for them to try that one again.
Trips formation, top of your screen. 3 receivers out there, and Barrett comes to the near side. He has his man, and that'll be a first down as Alexander makes the catch and rolls to the 45, stopped by Trent Brown.
Well, there's no question Ray Alexander, his return to the lineup gives this receiving core instant credibility. He just runs a super one-on-one pattern with Eddie Thomas, takes him hard to the inside and breaks it back to the corner. Technically, that was a perfect pattern and a lovely throw by Danny Barrett. That's the kind of throw you put a little air time on it, let your receiver run underneath it. Perfect strike, and now back-to-back plays find the BC Lions in Edmonton's territory in a hurry.
You can see why they're happy to have Ray Alexander back in the lineup with 1,200 yards on average over the last couple of years. 33 yards picked up there.
And his forte really is that he is a big play receiver. I mean, there's a lot of guys that catch their 6-7 balls a game, but when it gets critical late in a game, more often than not, Ray Alexander is the receiver that will make the big play for you. I know last year with Doug Flutie, it seemed like it was Alexander game after game, and right there, I mean, that's a big play now. They're 4 points behind. That's a 33-yard catch, and now they're in legitimate scoring territory.
Alexander, second leading receiver in Canadian football last season, playing his 3rd game this year because of injuries at the start of the season.
Well, he came to training camp, and he just was not healthy, did not pass the medical, so he rehabilitated. They finally were able to bring him back, and of course, nobody happier than Bob Abilovich with a struggling offense. You need a big play guy. They were not an offense that could score a lot of points before the return of Ray Alexander. Now they're an offense that I think legitimately can score 30 points a game.
Let's see what Barrett can do here. He's set up pretty nicely right now, just outside the Eskimo 45-yard line at the 47. On first down, quick pitch to John Volpe. And Volpe grabs a couple. He got across the 45, and guess who was there? 39, Willie Pless.
And it was because number 75, Lloyd Lewis, the defensive end, got such good penetration. You know, we talked about the fact that those 3 down linemen, basically Lewis, Goods, and Davidson, will have to sell themselves out to try and create some blocking foul-ups, and then that means Willie Pless can have a great night and make all the tackles. But Lloyd Lewis really made an outstanding play there.
5 sacks for Lewis on the season. The gain is 3 at 2nd and 7 for the Lions at the 45. Barrett has a completion, but he'll be short of the first down. Enos Jackson was covering, and Barrett comes up a little bit short.
Well, Danny Barrett is following the game plan to be patient and peck away at that Edmonton defense, but there comes a time in the game where he has to decide, hey, 2nd and 8, I have to throw downfield at least 10 to 12 yards to make sure I pick up that 8. I can't throw it 3 or 4 and hope I run for another 4. So sooner or later, he's going to have to be a little more aggressive in his play selection.
Mike Trevathan comes up a little short. Lou Pasaglia, perfect so far tonight. We'll try this one from about the 47-yard line. And this one is no good. Henry Williams gets it out of the end zone and does a good job out near the 15-yard line. Stopped by Tim Lorenz. So Pasaglia good on 2 of 3, and the Lions still trail by 4.
At the start of the game, we talked about the vaunted Edmonton running game. It's taken 2 significant blows here tonight. Blake Marshall has re-injured a shoulder that he hurt Monday against the Calgary Stampeders. He is questionable for the rest of tonight. And Tracy Ham is nursing sore ribs. That's also an injury he suffered on Monday. So the short week from the Labor Day game to this one is beginning to take a toll on the Eskimos.
Well, that'll change the game plan just a little bit, where they had such great success with Marshall and Michael Souls running last week, along with Tracy Ham for 226 yards. Ham may have to make a few adjustments down there.
Well, I think they'll still try and run it with whoever is in there, Chris Johnson, Michael Souls, Brian Walling and company. But Tracy Ham now, from a 50-50 type of pass-run ratio, will probably step that up to around at least 60-40 pass to run. And that's a lot of yardage when you take it out between Marshall and Ham not running the ball. Of course, they count on Tracy Ham to do their outside running. Marshall and Souls are the bangers between the tackles, and Tracy Ham is the guy that can get it to the outside.
Eskimos averaging 166 yards per game along the ground. Trips formation, far side of the field. 1st and 10. Eskimos at the 15. Michael Souls got the call. Souls met O.J. Brigance. Michael Souls in his 4th year from McGill completes the Eskimo All-Canadian backfield. What a great rushing average he has. 7 yards a carry in Canadian football, and he doesn't fumble.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't want to jinx him, but he is a guy that knows how to hang on to the football.
Gain is 3. This is 2nd and 7. Ham comes to the near side, and the catch is made, but out of bounds. Armstrong, covered by Miro.
I give Joe Miro credit. He did a really nice job on Chris Armstrong. Armstrong with a pretty good pattern, working back on an angle towards the sidelines, but Joe Miro was right there, and Tracy Ham knew it, so he had to throw that ball a little farther to the outside than he wanted to. Consequently, Armstrong out of bounds, and the BC Lions, I think, have had an excellent first half on defense so far. They've given up 10 points, but they've done a pretty good job, better than they have in the past.
Eskimos lead it by 4. It's 10-6. Edmonton in a punting situation as Harper stands back near his 5-yard line. This one is blocked. Loose ball. And the BC Lions should likely get possession. Spencer McLennan got through to block the punt from Glenn Harper.
We talk about a team that's struggling and the types of plays that will give them a huge lift. This is it. Block punt. Nothing like it to pick up a team, and of course for the Edmonton Eskimos it's pretty deflating, but Spencer McLennan with a tremendously good effort from the outside to come in. He gets the block, out of bounds, 2nd turnover.
Off the line and out of bounds, and here it is again. Harper tried to get it away. Spencer McLennan was there, and the BC Lions have a 1st down inside the Eskimo 20 at the 19. The pitch to Volpe. He can throw off this and looks to the end zone. Volpe. Not quite. Intended it for Ray Alexander. And Enos Jackson batted it away.
Oh, I like the call. It wasn't the prettiest play you're ever going to see, but the element of surprise was sure. They're trying to quickly take advantage of the turnover, block punt, and John Volpe, I think Ray Alexander did a good job to make sure nobody else caught that ball.
2nd and 10. Lions trailing by 4 at the Eskimo 19. Barrett to the far side. Catch is made about a yard short of the 1st down for Darren Flutie. We'll see where they spot the ball.
Good pattern by Darren Flutie, but I honestly think he's got to take it a little deeper because Danny Barrett's rolling out. When he rolls out, that means the receiver's going to have more time, and by Flutie cutting it off a little short, he winds up a yard short of that 1st down marker. So the BC Lions will have to gamble. Anytime quarterbacks roll or sprint out as a receiver, you have a little extra time to work that defensive back a little deeper than normal. Hey, even the good ones make the little mistakes every once in a while.
It's a long yard, almost 2. But the Lions go gambling. Barrett stumbles. He'll have to find a receiver now. Missed on the touchdown toss to John Volpe. And Volpe is shaken up.
Pretty wild call on 3rd and 1. Volpe was open. I mean, Danny Barrett in a desperation move tried to hit him in the end zone. Difficult to see how Volpe got hurt here at the end of this play, but I don't know. Pretty gutsy call from Bob Obilovich. If it was his call, he's not normally like that. More on the conservative side of things, but that, of course, will count as a turnover for the BC Lions. So what was a glorious opportunity for them falls by the wayside.
Volpe just winded. It'll be 1st down for the Eskimos as Ham goes over the middle and has his man at the 31-yard line. Miro was there to make the tackle with Smith Craig Ellis has the football for the Eskimos. Big play for Tracy Ham, covers 24 yards to Craig Ellis.
Well, Craig Ellis will probably see a few more balls now that the Edmonton Eskimos running game has been depleted with the lack of Blake Marshall. That's good news for Craig.
It doesn't look as though Blake Marshall will be back in this football evening. So Michael Souls will carry the bulk of the running game, and got a call there, met by Keith Poe. Number 32, Michael Souls, out of McGill, where he was the all-time rushing leader at the university. 4th season in the Canadian Football League. The gain that time, 1 yard. It is 2nd and 9. Eskimos. Blitz is on. Can Ham get it away? Looks deep for Sandusky. It's picked up. A great interception by Tracy Gravely. Sandusky was in behind the coverage, and Gravely got a hand on it, tipped it into his mitts, and took off.
Well, that really was a tremendous play by Tracy Gravely. Sandusky was in behind it. It looked as though Gravely was beaten cleanly, but watch the acceleration just at the end of this play, and the long arm. He must have 35-inch sleeve length, because that's a long arm that just reached out and scooped it and made a one-handed catch. And the BC Lions are sure dominating in the turnover department. That's the 3rd one they've created tonight.
2nd interception. And that sets the Lions up with a 1st down at the BC 50. Here's John Volpe taking the screen pass, and Volpe takes off. He is inside the Eskimo 40. Stopped by Enos Jackson. Pretty good night for Tracy Gravely with 2 interceptions so far.
3rd time now Danny Barrett's called the screen. Each time they've had great success. The BC offensive line, Ian Sinclair out front leading it, and the screen play is a good play against an Edmonton defense that likes to rush 4 or 5 people and drop everybody else off. There's usually lots of room.
1st and 10 at the 39. Sideline pattern for Alexander. Tight coverage by Eddie Thomas, number 17. Eskimos got 2 pretty good corners, and Thomas on the left side and Damian Lyons with 7 interceptions on the right side.
I've been a big fan of Eddie Thomas, and of course Lyons now with the 7. He looks like he is a keeper at that corner spot. This one, I mean, Ray Alexander's 6'4", but he just could not get up and bring that one down.
2nd and 10. 6:48 to go till halftime. 3 receivers, far side of the field, top of your screen. Here comes the blitz. Barrett got it away to Alexander, and Alexander forced out after the 1st down by Eddie Thomas.
We talked about Eddie Thomas, John, being a pretty decent one-on-one guy, but Ray Alexander commands tremendous respect around the league, and he works the inside shoulder of Thomas and then breaks to the outside, gets Thomas completely turned around, and technically you don't run it out any better than the one you saw right there.
14-yard gain, and that sets the Lions up inside the Eskimo 25. Here's John Volpe again. Nice run by Ryan Hansen, I should say, number 34. Nice run by Hansen.
And the thing that Danny Barrett is doing so well in this drive is mixing his plays up and keeping the Edmonton defense, which is a pretty tenacious group, off balance. Screen, you've got the out, the Alexander, now the draw to the outside with Ryan Hansen. The Edmonton defense kind of on their heels.
Inside the 15. Hansen again, and he'll score. Ryan Hansen, number 34. And that's his 1st touchdown of the season. So the BC Lions have taken advantage of the interception by Tracy Gravely and marched efficiently to the Eskimo end zone.
Now, is this the same BC team as we saw a few weeks ago? My,
no,
oh my.
It's not.
What a difference. The intensity level is at a real high for them. Their blocking schemes are crisp. They're running the ball well. I mean, this does not look like a team that has only won 1 game this year.
Lou Pasaglia adds to the BC Lion total as the Lions move out in front of the Eskimos for the first time. It's 13-10.
John, you and I talked in the opening that really the battle of the trenches might decide this game, and clearly the BC Lions are dominating in this department. Watch Jim Mills here on Benny Goods. You get Volpe coming on Odom, Ian Sinclair on the nose, and then Groenwagen on Willie Pless. I mean, this is nothing more than really man blocking and pushing your man back and creating an open hole for Ryan Hansen to run through. And, you know, when coaches talk about, well, we have to win the war up front, clearly BC is winning the war so far after a quarter and a half.
Ready for the Lions kickoff with BC out in front, 13-10. Craig Ellis on the return for the Eskimos. Tripped up by the first man upfield, Brian Smith, number 32. 10-yard return, 51-yard kickoff. And the Eskimos will try and retake the lead after a 5-play, 59-yard scoring drive, topped off by Ryan Hansen's 12-yard touchdown run, his first of the season.
And it was the variation of plays that impressed me as much as anything. Danny Barrett in total command. I mean, their game plan is perfect. It's, hey, we're going to run the ball, we're going to throw some screens, and we're going to throw some outs to Ray Alexander. So far, it's worked perfectly.
Nowhere to go for Michael Souls, number 32 that time. Forced back by at least 3 BC Lions, including Scrivener and Stuart Hill. Couple of sacks for Stu Hill against Ottawa last week, 7 on the season. Loss is 1 yard. This is 2nd and 11. The Eskimos are at the 33. Trips formation with 3 receivers near side of the field for Tracy Ham. Ellis comes open. He can't hang on to the ball. Met by Brian Smith. Talked about Smith and the punishing hitter he is.
Well, this is something the BC secondary has not had, a safety that can have a lot of range and also hit at the same time. Really, Ellis has a good chance to catch that ball, but who's there with the perfect timing? Brian Smith puts the helmet right in there, knocks the ball loose. You don't play middle safety any better than that. And he is getting a reputation around the league as being a hard hitter. He broke some ribs with Bobby Jurison last week on a short yardage pass. And, well, I'll tell you, the receivers are going to take note of number 32 in the Lion uniform.
Harper had 1 blocked. No problem getting this one away. And not much of a return for the BC Lions. Mike McLean leading the tacklers. Rico Cartwright slightly shaken up on the return. 2 yards on the run back, 43 yards on the punt. And the Lions lead the Eskimos, 13-10.
I just feel safer in a European sedan.
The Cadillac Seville. It passes federal side impact tests today, which are not required of all automobiles until 1997. It provides the added control of anti-lock brakes and the reassurance of a driver's side airbag. The Cadillac Seville. Drive one soon. It could change the way you think about American automobiles.
Rico Cartwright on the return. Here's what happened.
There's Dwayne Odom coming in, and really that got the hand up on the face mask.
There was no penalty, though.
Should have been.
And he reached for it, let go quickly, but obviously got away with that one. Rico seems to be okay. Gord.
What, guys? The Edmonton Eskimo defense just got a tongue lashing on the bench from defensive assistant coach Mike Nelson, who told them that's as badly as they've played all year long. He said they were not playing the run the way they were supposed to. What they're supposed to do is drive the running backs towards Willie Pless and Larry Ruck. They haven't been doing that. He says you've got to have pride against a team like this, because right now, these are his words, they're stuffing it down your throat.
Well, and that's a direct quote.
Yes, and the biggest problem that I can see from my perspective is they are just not aggressive tonight. They are playing very passively on defense. Usually they're a group that really does some hard hitting, and you hear the helmet popping all the way up here. Tonight, that just has not been the case.
First down, BC. Barrett rolled out and had Ryan Hansen open. Hansen couldn't make the catch.
Danny Barrett will come back to that play again. Maybe not the next one, or not for a few series, but that play with the play action, sneaking Hansen out in the flat, was absolutely wide open, and he will file that one away in the memory bank.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Lions at the 36, leading the Eskimos 13-10 with 4:14 to go till halftime. 3 receivers near side. Barrett comes back this way and has a connection with Matt Clark. He'll be short of the first down. Really Pless in on the tackle again. 79 catches, 1,530 yards for Matt Clark in his rookie year.
Off to a tough start this year. The last few weeks has been playing better, but you know, I think the defensive backs and the defensive coordinators around the league certainly have a better idea of the abilities of Matt Clark, and they have been defensing him a little better this year.
Lions go gambling on 3rd and 1. They'll have to get across the 45-yard line for the first down. Barrett keeps himself, and it'll be close.
This is really close. Well, you see the value of an offense with a Blake Marshall or somebody like that in it when you're 3rd and 1. I mean, it's almost guaranteed. For BC tonight, it's been an adventure.
Barrett went looking for a first down on 3rd and a long yard. We'll see if he got it right about now. Any portion of the football, and made it by 6-8 inches late.
Wasn't even close.
Could have been costly. 3:21 to go till halftime. Lions in front. The drive continues. BC leading by 3 on the front running Edmonton Eskimos. Lions from the 46. Barrett handing out to John Volpe. Volpe, a good move to grab a couple of yards. Stopped by Enos Jackson and Stephen Jordan. Looked to be stopped behind the line, but he squirted through for a couple. Exactly 3 minutes to go till halftime. Timeout at Commonwealth. We'll continue with this BC Lion drive in just a moment. Here's the way it looks in the Eastern Division of the Canadian Football League heading into Week 10 with the Tiger Cats leading the East by 4 points on Ottawa and Winnipeg. The Argos are 6 points off the first place pace. In the West, the Eskimos by 2 on the Stampeders, followed by Saskatchewan, and the BC Lions looking sharp tonight, hoping they can make it 2 weeks in a row in the win column. Other games this week, the Tiger Cats against the Ottawa Rough Riders should be a good one. Stampeders against the Argos. Both teams could use a win there. Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, and that's almost a toss-up after the Riders won last week. Ron Lancaster watches this game with interest, and also the one on Saturday afternoon. Dinosaurs Golden Bears on TSN. And young Lancaster, Bob Lancaster, the starting quarterback for Tom Wilkinson's University of Alberta Golden Bears.
Well, that should be an interesting game tomorrow, and Gord Miller is going to make the trip down there, call the play-by-play for that one Saturday afternoon, and there you see we will have it from TSN. I know I'm going to watch it.
After a gain of 4, it's 2nd and 6. Barrett releases in a hurry. Intended that for Darren Flutie, and was slightly behind his receiver. Thomas was covering on Flutie.
I think this is a good move by the Edmonton Eskimos. They bring Ruck, they bring Pless, they bring everybody. They have to change the pace of this ball game. They defensively are pretty flat, as Gord Miller mentioned, and I think they have to change it up like they did right there and try and create some havoc. Danny Barrett has been allowed to be pretty comfortable back there, although he hasn't had a huge night passing. He also has not had a lot of pressure and hands in his face, and I think strategy-wise, Edmonton was very smart to bring a few extra people.
Not much of a breeze behind Lupa Saglia as he steps across the 40 to get this one away. Henry Williams has the lone touchdown for the Eskimos tonight, picking it up at the 15, and Williams scoots all the way to the 30-yard line. Didn't look to be much running room, but Giz found 16 yards before Donovan Wright made the tackle. There's a penalty marker down. And face masking could be the call against the BC Lions. Rough play. And the Eskimos get a few extra yards. Another look here.
Might see it at the top left. Well, there's face masking there. Not sure that was the call.
That wasn't the official indication from
There was a
Davey
little
Olm.
altercation off to the side there. Couldn't quite catch the number, but
From the 45, Williams makes the catch from Tracy Ham, and he'll be close to a first down.
perfect call. They have to do this 5-6 times a game to the gizmo. I mean, what could be easier? He goes down 6 yards, you get him the ball. I mean, the worst you're going to have, he gets tackled right away. There's 2nd and 4, but with his speed and ability, here he is right here, just right there. What could be easier? Miro scared to death of him. Now you got an easy play. You pick up a first down. That's great. That's taking advantage of the situation.
10 yards, Eskimos have the first down right at midfield at the 45-yard line. Trips formation, far side of the field, top of your screen. Good fake by Ham. He got away from the pressure, and he has a big first down. Tracy Ham right on the money for Craig Ellis. Fred Young and Joe Miro over to make the stop, but not before Ellis had 30 yards.
And of course, that's what a good running game will do for you. BC respecting that, and the play action holds the linebackers just long enough to let Ellis get in behind him, and a nicely feathered pass by Tracy Ham into Ellis.
1st and 10, Eskimos at the 25-yard line of the Lions with 2:08 to go till halftime. BC in front by 3. Ham for Armstrong. Another first down as Armstrong squirts away from one tackler. Gravely finally slowed him down with some help from Brian Smith.
Edmonton Eskimos count on their running backs to do a lot of blocking on defensive ends, and Chris Johnstone on Stuart Hill does a super job. Notice how he was really square to Hill when he made that block, and Hill couldn't overpower him. And of course, the result is Ham has enough time to pick out a receiver and keep a very impressive drive going.
Eskimos at the BC 11, and a procedure call will slow things down here. It's 1st and 10, Edmonton at the BC 11-yard line. Lions 13, Eskimos 10. And they're still sorting out the penalty down there. A procedure call going against the Eskimos. It'll be 1st and 15 as a result, with 1:42 till a half. Three receivers far side of the field. A trips formation over there, and Ham looks to the end zone for Craig Ellis. Covered by Brett Young.
See Ellis looking up to the scoreboard here. I mean, he wants to see how close he was to that, making that catch. They had a right pattern call. Brett Young working on him. Now Ellis has a lot of room to the corner to run underneath that thing, but the ball just a little too far.
So it'll be 2nd and 15. Eskimos back to the Lions' 16-yard line. One more crack at the touchdown for Ham here. And the blitz will be on. Ham got away from a little, but not all of the BC Lion pressure.
Now the blitz was on, and all three linebackers were coming. Everybody, when the BC Lions were backed up on their deep in their own territory, they decided they have to try and force the issue a little bit, and they were successful in doing so. Doug Hocking finally coming up with the tackle. I don't think it goes as a sack, but nevertheless, Tracy Ham, when he's running, is so dangerous. I think Hocking should be very pleased he was able to drag him down from behind and allow Sean Fleming to come into the game.
Hocking had a big week last week against Ottawa with 5 tackles, and actually that's what won him a starting job tonight. Fleming is in. 1 for 1 tonight. Make that 2 for 2. And Sean Fleming has connected on his last 7 field goals. Going back through 3 games, he also has the Eskimos into a tie with the BC Lions, approaching halftime at Commonwealth. See what Dan Barrett can do with the last 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Well, if I'm Dan Barrett, I say I'd like to go into the locker room with the lead. I got 1 minute and 9 to go, and tie ball game. I don't have that far to go to try and get Lou Pasaglia in the field goal range. Take a shot at trying to work him down about 30 more yards and see if he can set up a field goal opportunity.
Barrett has looked sharp tonight as he did last week against Ottawa. On first down, a little swing pass to John Volpe. Volpe finds great running room. He's tough to catch. Jordan finally got him from behind, number 11.
And that's the 4th screen they've run tonight with great efficiency. They're allowing the Edmonton front 4 or 5 to come in and get lots of penetration, then the offensive linemen just sneak out and form a good wall for Volpe. Now watch to the right of your screen. There goes Sinclair. There goes Terrace. There goes Groenewegen. Here's 3 guys out in front creating some holes for Volpe. You can't do it any better than that.
24-yard gain, setting the Lions up. Flutie all the way down inside the Eskimo 15 to about the 10-yard line. Enos Jackson finally over to make the tackle. 41 yards for Flutie after 24 for Volpe.
Pretty heads up play by Flutie. He realized he wasn't touched, able to get up and go for a few more.
1st and 10 for the Lions at the Eskimo 10. John Volpe, touchdown. So the Lions are back in the lead. 3 plays and they hit the end zone.
Well, what an impressive drive. You know, I was suggesting that maybe Danny Barrett try and work it down for a field goal, but look, lo and behold, what they come up with. A touchdown run by John Volpe.
And what a great run it was. He just got over the line. John Volpe for the touchdown. And the BC Lions, with 23 seconds to play till halftime, lead the Edmonton Eskimos by 7 at 20-13.
Boy, you're going to get a great look at a block by Ryan Hansen. Here's Ryan Hansen. Here's Willie Pless right here. Now, watch Hansen right up through the hole. Sorry, we burned it. We couldn't show it to you, but trust me, Ryan Hansen threw a tremendous block on Willie Pless to spring his buddy John Volpe into the end zone for the touchdown. And all right, let's give it one more shot here, because this is worth taking a look at. First of all, Ian Sinclair, he's going to work Rob Davidson that way. Here comes old Ryan Hansen right up the hole. Who does he meet? Willie Pless. Hey, John Volpe's got a touchdown. I mean, this is the way you draw it up on the blackboard, and boom. I mean, you can't do it any better. Block on Larry Ruck, and then John Volpe has to fight for the extra 3 yards to get into the end zone. And what a pretty drive to close out the last few seconds in this first half.
Volpe's 13th touchdown of the season, his 11th along the ground.
Yeah, that was too good to not try and show again. That was a great run.
Craig Ellis stumbles as he crosses the 30-yard line.
You know, John, I think it's worth mentioning the fact, and Gord Miller brought it up, that the Eskimos played on Monday. The BC Lions had 8 days to prepare for this game, and that really, I think, is the story here in the first half. The Edmonton Eskimos, although they scored 13 points, I mean, they look flat. They look listless. They're not aggressive the way they have been in their first 9 games. The BC Lions, on the other hand, I mean, they look charged, and they're a team that really is searching for their second win of the season.
Eskimos are 1st and 10 with 19 seconds to go. It's a long way from the Edmonton 32. Ham swings it out to Michael Souls. Good run by Souls. He got across the 50-yard line. 13 seconds till the half. Nifty little scoring drive by Danny Barrett and the BC Lions. Didn't take long. 49 seconds to cover 75 yards, and John Volpe got to the end zone from 10 yards out. Edmonton first down, 4 seconds left. For Brian Walling, he couldn't hang on. So 2 seconds left for the Eskimos, who trail by 7 points at 20-13. Ron Lancaster was worried a little bit about the preparation time this week, as you were talking about, Leaf, but also after the big win in Calgary, coming home to play a team that only won 1 game all season.
Well, I think his concerns are well-founded because his team has not performed to the level they certainly are capable of playing to.
Brian Walling, and this should be the last play of the opening half, and Walling breaks it for big yardage. He's down inside the 35. Stopped by Joe Miro, but there is no time for a field goal try. Time had run out on the Edmonton Eskimos. BC Lions, a surprising first half. They played well and lead the Eskimos 20-13.
Yes, 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 and welcome to our new show, The Toe. Hi, I'm DK Smith. As you all know, I have a very bad toe. The big toe is a no-go for this week's show. But I'm going to stick around here for the entertainers because we have a very special show for you today, which involves toes. Not mine, someone else's. We have Troy Westwood, a kicker from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, going against our very own Mr. Leaf Patterson. Leaf, counting on you, buddy. Come up big for us. But first of all, we've been away for quite some time, and you all may have forgotten the rules. So here they are once more. We have 2 contestants. Each contestant will have 30 seconds to a minute to display their special talent. And we will have you, the fans, have an opportunity to decide our winner by phoning in your votes. We will donate $100 to the winner's favorite charity. So first off tonight, we have a kicker, which I said I wasn't going to permit any more kickers on my show, but Troy, being that you knocked us out of the Grey Cup in 1990 with that field goal, I'm going to give you another shot, okay? So we have Troy Westwood taking care of business. Hey, that's pretty good, Troy. Hey, we need to adopt that theme song on our team. We need to start taking care of business. But that's a whole nother subject. But now, we have one of our very own, Mr. Leaf Patterson. He's going to try and swoon you with his own rendition of You Lost That Love and Feeling. Take it away, Leaf.
You'll never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips, and there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. We had a love you don't find every day. So don't let
pretty good, Leaf. But you can do it all. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. You know what? I think you should change over into singing. That way I can just step right into your shoes right here at TSN. But, you know, hey, but that's okay. But now it's up to you, the fans. We need your help in deciding a winner. Give us a call. If you like the real Toe, Troy Westwood, call 1-900-273-0040. If you like Leaf Pedersen, call 1-900-273-0041. Once again, for Troy, 1-900-273-0040, and for Leaf, 1-900-273-0041. And it's only 50 cents to make a call.
Looked like the start of a big night for the Eskimos when Henry the Gizmo Williams hooked up on a 72-yard pass and run touchdown with Tracy Ham. That made it 7-0. BC inched closer on Lou Pasaglia's 29-yarder. That made it 7-3 in favor of Edmonton. And Pasaglia struck again to bring the Lions within one. Sean Fleming, Edmonton's suddenly strong kicker, struck from 38 yards out. That made it 10-6 in favor of Edmonton. Brian Hansen's 12-yard touchdown run put BC in front for the first time. Fleming tying it up from 18 yards out, but then, late in the half, came John Volpe's 10-yard touchdown run, 2013 BC. When we come back, we'll howl at the moon. Oh, Leaf, did you do that already?
Lions lead the Eskimos by 7 as we get set to begin the second half. Sean Fleming. Good return set up by the Lions. That's Rico Cartwright. And the Lions will have good field position. Willie Pless leading the Eskimo tacklers again. 16-yard return. Halftime numbers for the BC Lions in front of the Eskimos, 225 to 190. In passing yards, 308 to 250. And the turnover story, a big part of the game. The Eskimos have turned it over 3 times.
Of course, the one BC Lion turnover was a third down gamble deep in Edmonton territory that failed. So pretty much a typical game for Danny Barrett. He's a quarterback that simply doesn't beat himself. Very well executed first half for him.
Barrett rolling to his right on 1st and 10. As a target, he's short of the first down as Trevathan makes the catch in front of Enos Jackson, number 29.
Well, in the Eskimo dressing room at halftime, Ron Lancaster told his team that was as flat as they'd been all season, but they were fortunate to still be in the ball game. They couldn't afford to be that flat in the second. On the other side of the room, Mike Nelson gave it to his defense again and said there will be personnel changes in the second half if the play doesn't improve.
A gain of 5 yards for Trevathan, 2nd and 5, BC Lions. Out across the 35 at the 38. Barrett has a first down as Trevathan makes his 2nd straight catch in front of Enos Jackson. Barrett very impressive in the first half, Lee.
He is, and he started off nicely in the third quarter here. And what he's doing is he's working underneath the coverage against the predominantly zone defense. Right coming into your living room, Trevathan, who finds the hole between the linebacker and the defensive back, Enos Jackson. I mean, it's an easy, high percentage pass to complete, but that's what makes Danny Barrett so effective. He does not beat himself.
This time he calls on John Volpe. Volpe bounces off one and gets to the outside. Jordan finally forcing him out. And there wasn't too much room for John Volpe on that carry.
I think that's what Bob Obilovich said. You know, it's very difficult just to, hey, try and run outside. But what you try and do is hit it up inside and then bounce it to the outside. But number 11, Stefan Jordan, is waiting right for Volpe with a pretty good solid hit there to keep him. But it's so tough because defenses are so quick to just quickly toss it out. You hit it upside, inside, and then bounce it to the outside.
Volpe, who averages over 5 yards a carry, picked up 3 on the previous play. Batted down. And there's a penalty marker on the play. Larry Ruck, number 47, got a hand on the pass from Danny Barrett.
Larry Ruck is so good at hiding kind of in the weeds behind the defensive end, and at the last second sneaking out and getting his hands on the football. That's how he got the big interception last week against Doug Flutie. Same type of play right now.
Roughing the passer called against the Eskimos.
That's Larry Ruck to the bottom of your screen now. He reads Danny Barrett's eyes. That's simply all he does. And he goes to a spot he knows Barrett's going to throw to, and he knocks it down and actually could have had the interception. But great technique of looking into the backfield and reading where the quarterback is going to throw the football to and then reacting to it.
Lions well set up after the penalty. Volpe slips as he tries to turn the corner. Ruck was there to pin him. Number 47. Gain is less than a yard. Early in the third quarter, BC Lions in front by a touchdown at 20-13.
I think this is a critical play to tell how the Edmonton defense is going to play in the second half. Are they going to be passive, or are they going to try and turn it up a notch? I think they've got to come with about 6 people here and really try and upset Danny Barrett's rhythm.
And you're right, here they come, but Barrett throws a strike. He'll be short of the first down, but not by much. Jackson making the tackle on Matt Clark.
And they only came with 5 people on the rush, and that was pretty easy for the veteran offensive line of the BC Lions to pick up. 6 people maybe outman, get you an outman situation, but the 5 still allowed Danny Barrett all kinds of time to look downfield and pick out a receiver. Now, for about the 3rd time tonight, a BC receiver has come up short. And
this will be time, 3rd and a long yard, Leaf.
Yeah, and they choose not to gamble here.
Luke Pasaglia is in. Can they fake it?
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Pasaglia has connected on 2 of 3. And he's good on this one. As the BC Lions pull out in front of the Edmonton Eskimos by 10. It's 23-13 on our TSN Game of the Week.
Welcome back to Edmonton. We're with injured Eskimo running back Blake Marshall. Blake, you coming back tonight?
I don't think I'll be back tonight. I hurt it pretty bad last week, and I thought I could play tonight, but the first couple of hits I took acted it up again.
This team played on Monday, and to be frank, looks a little flat tonight. Is that the reason?
Well, we had a lot of momentum and emotion in the last game, and I think that's what we're lacking here tonight. We need a big play to get the momentum, and we got to play with a lot more emotion out there.
Now, this shoulder isn't going to keep you out longer than tonight, is it?
Oh, no. We got a good break after this game, so I'm looking forward to being back.
All right, Blake, thanks very much, and you and I will watch the rest of the game.
All right, thanks, George.
I think that's the biggest thing for these professional athletes. I mean, 3-4 days between a game, you just don't have a chance to heal, and such is the case for Blake Marshall. And disappointing. I mean, I more than anyone love to watch him play, and disappointing that he's not in there.
Well, let's see what Ham can do without him in the second half. Brian Walling got the call. Tracy Gravely and Brian Smith stopped Brian Walling. He's just short of the first down. The numbers on the quarterback so far, Danny Barrett is winning in total yards. Tracy Ham has tossed a couple of interceptions and 1 touchdown.
And it's a typical Danny Barrett when he's at his best. I mean, he has not thrown a touchdown, but the key statistic is he's not thrown an interception. And, you know, it really bears repeating. He is a quarterback that simply will not beat himself. He's a high percentage passer. And I think that is very evident in those numbers tonight. 17 completions for 245 yards is a very good statistic up to this point.
Brian Walling out of Acadia did pick up the necessary yardage for a first down, but just Eskimos at the 45-yard line. Ham swings it out to Henry Williams. Williams beats 1 tackler, and he has another first down, or is very close to it, right at the 55. Stopped by Hocking, number 90 for the Lions.
Well, it's a smart first down call on Henry. Look at all the room that Joe Miro is giving. I mean, by the time Williams catches it, now he's got a chance, and give Miro credit. He forces him back to the inside where he'll get some help, but every time Williams has caught the quick screen or the hitch pass tonight, he has at least picked up a first down, and he has been much more involved tonight in the offense. Of course, the 72-yard touchdown catch and run he had earlier, but this is a productive night for Henry Williams.
10:52 to play, third quarter. The Eskimos on a bit of a roll. Began back near the 30-yard line. Now Edmonton right at midfield. 3 receivers. Top of your screen, far side. And Walling got the call. He was met immediately by O.J. Brigance, number 57. O.J. celebrating. A big tackle there. 23-13.
Well, we talked about O.J. Brigance and the role he would play tonight if BC Lions would win. They said the front guys would take the gaps away, and that means the opportunities for the linebackers are there to make some tremendous hits. And O.J. Brigance, the off-tackle play, he was there with a vengeance.
He created a loss of 2 yards. 2nd and 12, and Ham throws under the coverage. Souls made the catch, but couldn't get the first down. Brett Young was there along with Doug Hocking. Lions defense is looking sharper tonight too, Leaf.
Well, they're really hustling. I mean, this was Doug Hocking's man, Michael Souls, but Doug Hocking got picked off, and Brett Young recognized that right away, knew they were in trouble, so he left his man, read the play, and makes a great hit. But that is teamwork. You know, now the Lions have got some guys that are playing together for more than a week, and they can coordinate those plays.
3rd down. Harper. Back near his 40-yard line. High kick. Rico Cartwright chased back to the 2. Good upfield tackling by the Eskimos. Cartwright got to the 15. He was met there by Michel Bourgeot. A 12-yard return, 55-yard boomer by Glenn Harper.
I think what Blake Marshall said in his interview with Gord Miller was very apropos to the Edmonton situation. We need something good to happen to us, a good play, whether it be on special teams or possibly on defense right here. They're got BC backed up at their own 15-yard line, and you know, I keep waiting for Edmonton to take a bit of a gamble on defense, and I think it's time. There it is.
That was it.
Yeah. He just shot
Larry Ruck on Ryan Hansen.
He shot the gap on the blitz, and he hit the play right on the head. Now, that's the kind of a physical play that can get a team charged up a little bit. There you see Larry Ruck come through the gap between the guard and the tackle, and boom. That's a pretty good hit on Ryan Hansen.
For a loss of a couple.
And that type of an aggressive play is infectious for the entire team.
2nd and long facing Barrett. He looks down the sidelines for Trevathan, very nearly intercepted. Lyons was over covering number 10. There's a penalty marker down back in the BC backfield. The Eskimos were a little too aggressive there.
It's interesting. One of the things Ron Lancaster said when we talked to him about Danny Barrett was the fact that Ronnie said, hey, he is as tough a quarterback as there is, so what we have to do is hit him time and time again, try and wear him out. But what they're doing is they're hitting them a little late, and those are costly penalties.
Rough play call sets the Lions up out across the 25 at the 27. Volpe fumbles the ball. The Eskimos will recover. Big turnover going against the BC Lions. Enos Jackson came up with a football. Make that Willie Pless, number 39.
Here's Larry Ruck at the top. I really think Ryan Hansen misses the block. Ruck gets in and creates the play that, of course, everybody on Edmonton was waiting for. Something good to happen. Here it was. The ball comes loose, and is it Willie Pless with the fumble? Yes, Willie Pless with the fumble recovery. So as we talked about, something good needed to happen, and probably by the defense, and that occurred with the heads-up play by Larry Ruck.
And look where the Eskimos are at the BC 12-yard line. The blitz was on. Touchdown toss. Yes! Chris Johnston. Chris Armstrong, I should say, in front of Tracy Gravely.
Tracy Ham likes to strike quickly after the big turnover, and Chris Armstrong works around the top of Tracy Gravely and just simply outruns him to the football. And one play after the fumble recovery, the Eskimos strike quickly, and they find themselves right back in this one in a hurry.
back to a 3-point difference. Chris Armstrong, 6th touchdown this season. And the Eskimos are right back in this, trailing 23-20. 12-yard touchdown to Chris Armstrong. His 6th of the season. Here's how it looked to lead.
Yeah, I'm going to show you what Tracy Ham, watch what he does. Here's Brian Smith in the middle. Ham is looking that way, all the way. That forces Smith here and gives Chris Armstrong a lot more room in the middle. Tracy Ham, that's a trick a quarterback can do to give his receiver just that little much, just that bigger area to work into. You see Brian Smith not even involved in the play, and he's the middle safety.
On the return, Rico Cartwright, and he's out across the 37. 17 yards. Tacklers led by Chris Johnstone after a 55-yard kickoff. The number's on Danny Barrett. 245 so far. He needs to get the Lions rolling again in a hurry. Take the momentum back.
Well, tongue lashings have been happening on both sides of the field. Bob Hefner really gave it to his offense. John Volpe and Ryan Hansen in particular for that last fumble. Threw his headset down and actually threw it at John Volpe.
On first down, Barrett comes to the near side, throwing on the run. Good defensive play. Intended for Clark, and Jordan was covering.
Isn't it interesting how one play, and of course you look back at a game and certain plays affect the outcome. The one play by Larry Ruck to create the fumble.
Maybe 2 plays by Larry Ruck. He broke through just a second or 2 before that and forced the Lions into 2nd and long, and then made the play to set up the fumble.
But his play has really changed the complexion of this game in a hurry. Even though Edmonton still trails by 3, this is a different team in the last few minutes.
And the Eskimos will likely be coming on 2nd and 10. The blitz is there. Great catch over the middle. Ray Alexander in front of Damian Lyons. Big play for the Lions.
And give Danny Barrett credit, too. I mean, Danny Barrett senses the urgency of this drive. You know, he's felt the momentum kind of switch. So what does he do? On a critical situation, he goes to his clutch receiver, Ray Alexander, who comes up with a spectacular catch. And you know, this is very important for BC, this drive. They felt this momentum, losing it. They'd like to recapture it again.
After 16 yards, the Lions just shy of midfield. And Clark makes a catch far side in front of Enos Jackson. That's Matt Clark, number 85.
See, and this short passing game to the outside will really have a positive effect for the BC Lions. Obviously, it allows them to keep the ball a little longer, keep the drive going, and let the crowd settle down, take them back out of the game, let the Edmonton Eskimos, the high they were on, kind of settle back down too. So he accomplishes a number of things with this good drive he's putting together.
Pitch to Volpe on 2nd and 4. He turns the corner and slips. He'll be short of the first down. Pinned by safety Trent Brown. Yeah, the fumble hurt John Volpe, but he still had a pretty good evening. 57 yards rushing, 44 receiving, over 100.
And he's touched the ball 11 times, and that's about half of what Bob Avilovich would like for the entire game for John Volpe. Between 15 and 20 carries, and in the 5 to 6 reception area would be very pleasing to the head coach.
Lions requested the measure to see just how far they had to go for the first down. 5:48 to go, third quarter, with BC leading the Eskimos 23-20.
We talk about huge plays in a game now. I mean, if Edmonton stops them here, it's huge. If BC can keep it going, it's great for them.
Barrett should have the first down. Well, let's see where they spot the ball. The Eskimos say no.
That was a tremendous surge by that front group of the Eskimos. They absolutely stuffed the offensive line of the BC Lions. And if Danny Barrett got this, it was just stretching out that arm at the last second that did it.
They'll measure again. It's that close. 5:25 to go in the third quarter at Commonwealth. Spot is critical now. Any portion of the ball means a first down for the Lions. Made it by 2 inches that time.
By a mile. Well, just enough. Watch as Danny Barrett makes that second surge to the outside, and here he is. He'll stretch that arm out, and I think that's what enabled him to get the first down.
I think you're absolutely right. First and 10 for the Lions. Ball now at the Eskimo 47. Barrett, time to throw for Alexander, and he'll have another BC first down in front of Eddie Thomas that time. Barrett has been very cool under pressure. He's had a solid night.
And one of the reasons why Danny Barrett has had such a good night is watch the pocket that his offensive line provides for him, and you'll see the good sight lines downfield that he has to pick out a receiver. And you know, give his offensive line credit. They have afforded him the opportunity to stand and step up on that front foot and throw some pretty serious strikes to his receivers.
Alexander closing in on 100 after a 16-yard reception there. He is the target again. In front of Thomas, Alexander once more.
Well, it's amazing to think what effect one player has had on a team. I mean, their offense has gone into, all of a sudden, a high-powered offense with the addition of Ray Alexander back into the lineup. 100-yard receiving night for Ray Alexander and some big clutch catches to keep this drive going. So you talk about taking a crowd out of the game. I mean, a crowd that was in a frenzy on the last Edmonton touchdown is now a pretty quiet group as Danny Barrett has just methodically moved his team down the field and taken a lot of time off that clock.
4:08 to go, third quarter. Lions in the lead by 3 with a first down inside the Eskimo 20. And the call goes up to John Volpe once more. He's a fine young running back. Closing in on a couple of CFL records. 13 touchdowns on the season, 11 rushing. The existing mark held at 18 by Jim Germany and Jerry James of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
And Edmonton in an obvious passing situation at 2nd and 7 now. Takes the linebacker Odoms out, and the extra defensive back 14, Doug Parrish, comes in the secondary.
On second down, Barrett has a man open, and that'll be good for a first down. Worried look on Lancaster's face.
Okay, here's the change. Doug Parrish comes in for Odom. Now, he really gets caught in down here in the zone coverage, and that just allows Mooney to come in underneath it. But that's the effect of not having a linebacker in there that normally goes to the proper zone. Doug Parrish did not get to the hook zone where he was supposed to be.
Inside the 4, to the outside. Not quite. Down to the 1-yard line, Ryan Hansen. He had a 12-yard score in the first half. Stopped by Brown and Larry Ruck.
It's a good smart run by Hansen to bounce it to the outside, but then the team speed of the Eskimo defense is evident as Enos Jackson comes a long way to deny Hansen from getting into the end zone.
Lions will have 2 cracks at it from the 1-yard line. Volpe takes just one. Touchdown number 2 for John Volpe on the night.
Well, John, you know, you can say what you want about Edmonton being flat coming off the Labor Day game with Calgary, but this BC Lion team has matured in a hurry. I mean, there is no bigger drive that they have had this year than the one that they just put together to answer that touchdown of the Edmonton Eskimos when it looked like Edmonton was beginning to get back and turn this game around. That was as pretty a drive as you're going to see all year long.
12 rushing touchdowns on the season for John Volpe. Another loop with Saglia converts. And the BC Lions have restored a 10-point lead. Our game of the week from Commonwealth continues in a moment. The 10 points once more after an impressive 10-play scoring drive capped off by the John Volpe touchdown. And now the Eskimos start back. Here's Craig Ellis, number 33. And he stopped around the 31-yard line. 13 yards the return, 57-yard kickoff.
I think worth mentioning on that 10-play scoring drive was the fact that the BC Lions were going to have to punt after a missed pass on second down, but a roughing the passer call gave them a first down. And boy, did they ever take advantage of that, marching it down the field to what was obviously their most impressive scoring drive of the season.
2:17 to go, third quarter. Let's see what Tracy Ham and the Eskimos can do here. First and 10, Edmonton at the 31. Good fake by Ham, swings it out to Michael Souls. And Souls finds great running room down the near sidelines. He's out across midfield and finally stopped by Brian Smith. 24 yards for Michael Souls.
Good-looking swing screen pass to Michael Souls. Little play action fake to freeze the linebackers. Now watch 54. The left guard, Pierre Vercheval, out in front leading the way. Watch how Souls sets him up. Now, he'll cut back outside Vercheval, so Vercheval can get an angle. He doesn't get a great block, but a nice piece of running by Mike Souls.
Just across midfield, the Eskimos at the 54 of BC. Ham to his right. Tips. Armstrong was the intended receiver, and Gravely, with 2 interceptions so far, tipped the ball there.
Could have had number 3, Tracy Ham. I don't know what he was looking at, but he certainly didn't see Tracy Gravely. Gravely was right there and could have had it.
Second and 10. Eskimos at the Lion 54. 3 receivers flanked to the far side of the field. Ham looks to the near side and is high, intending that for Henry Williams. Joe Merrill beaten by Williams for an early 72-yard touchdown. And Merrill was covering on Williams and had it well under control that time. Harper is in, standing at his 40 on third down. Pretty good average going tonight after a long one of 55 yards. One man back for the Lions. This is Rico Cartwright. And he hasn't had a great night on return so far. Dan Murphy leading the tacklers with Jed Roberts. 2 yards on that return.
You know, all season long, we've talked about pressure on a quarterback. You know, sacks are very glamorous, but sometimes pressure is the key to unsuccessful pass attempts. Here's O.J. Brigance. Now, as Tracy Ham goes back, he waits, and then he comes right up the gut on the blitz, and that's what really will force Tracy Ham to throw it high. It's the only way he can get the ball up. There comes Brigance. The ball goes high. Gizmo Williams has no chance to make the catch on the sidelines, but that is pressure. That's the most important thing a defense can do to a quarterback.
On first down, Barrett goes to the far side and gets about halfway there. Ray Alexander having a big night for the Lions. Stopped by Damian Lyons. 7-yard, 7th catch for Alexander. They mark the gain at 5. 27 seconds left to go, third quarter. With BC leading Edmonton 30-20. Barrett takes off. He'll have the first down and sliding safely near the 37-yard line. Bless was there to pin Danny Barrett that time.
What a good choice by Danny Barrett. Larry Ruck was coming on the blitz, and so what that does is mean only one linebacker is in that middle area, Willie Pless. And if he drops off and that opening is created, Danny Barrett has an easy it's an easy position for him to run for the first down. First time he's run with it tonight, but very effective. Good timing.
Yeah, he doesn't carry out, but that was only his 20th carry of the season. But it's a big one for a first down. Out at the 38 now. Now the pressure comes on Barrett. Gets away from the first wave. And that one is out of the old ball yard.
Yeah, he threw it away. Smart play. That's why Danny Barrett doesn't beat himself. He realized that play had no chance for success. Get rid of it, and you live to try it again.
So Barrett and the Lions have a 10-point lead with 3 quarters complete at Commonwealth in Edmonton. It's 30-12 in Edmonton. First and 10 for the Eskimos. Or for the BC Lions, I should say, at the 38. Barrett has Alexander one more time. One more BC first down. In front of Willie Pless.
Edmonton Eskimos only bringing 5 people again, and the BC Lions protect just long enough for Danny Barrett to find Alexander over the middle. And boy, if there's one player that has dominated this game tonight, it certainly has been Ray Alexander and his pass receiving.
Just nicely into the 4th quarter, the Lions have a 10-point lead. John Volpe away from 1 tackler and slowed down by Enos Jackson, number 29. Gain is 3, 2nd and 7. Jackson shaken up. Numbers so far with the Lions showing 412 yards in total offense compared to 303 for the Eskimos. And look at the time of possession, Lee, 27 minutes for the Lions.
Wow, that was in the 3rd quarter when they had that long 10-play drive. They really ate up the clock.
Volpe makes the catch, and he may have the first down. He got close. Damian Lyons, number 10, over to make the tackle. With some help from Odom.
That's what we talked about in the opening. They would try and get John Volpe out in the flat, give him the ball quickly. If Edmonton is going to drop off people, I mean, get it to your running back quickly. He knows how to pick up an extra few yards. They're awfully close to the first down, but don't you just love the way Danny Barrett operates the offense when he has time to throw? It's all high percentage. There's nothing risky. How many Edmonton tip balls have you seen tonight? Maybe 1?
I think so.
I mean, it's all high percentage offense, and it's really pretty to watch.
He is very definitely in control. Back last week to beat the Ottawa Rough Riders. This is only his 5th game of the season. First and 10 for the Lions. And Volpe again. Good hole for Volpe, and he makes a big play. Inside the Eskimo 30 to about the 28. Stephen Jordan made the tackle for the Eskimos. And Volpe's having another great night.
And the BC Lion offensive line does such a good job at trap blocking. Here's the hole. Now watch, there's Jamie Terrace, the kick-out block on Dwayne Odoms, rather, and a huge hole for Volpe to run out through. So we talked about the battle of the big horses up front. Who would win that battle tonight? And clearly, the BC Lion offensive line has been able to dominate that front 7 of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Lions with a first down at the Eskimo 30. And Barrett has time to throw. Looking for the big one to Ray Alexander. Alexander wanted a call on Lions, but there was no penalty marker.
I think Damian Lyons just had perfect position on Ray Alexander. Watch right here. Now the arm gets in there. Now, hey, every corner in the league does that. They stick that arm in there and snug into that receiver, but that's something that will not get called.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 BC. 12:18 to go, 4th quarter. Lots of time left. Lions lead it by 10, 30 to 20. 2nd and 10 situation. Barrett looks back to the near side. He'll have a first down to Matt Clark, down to the 10. Stopped by Jordan. Nice pattern.
One of the problems of the Edmonton defense is the fact that their middle safety, Trent Brown, refuses to come up into this area. Very easy for Matt Clark to kind of work in there. Everybody clears out for him, but Unless your middle safety is going to come up and challenge that hook zone, you're going to be able to do this pattern all day long. And unlike the BC Lions, where Brian Smith will come up and hit people, the Edmonton defense doesn't do it.
A 20-yard gain. Lions set up at the Eskimo 10-yard line on 1st and 10. Hansen couldn't make the catch. Ryan Hansen covered by Stephen Jordan. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Watch Matt Clark work to the inside now. He's trying to create a little rub maybe in there for Ryan Hansen to get the help. But Edmonton did a nice job to switch that.
Catchable, but not an easy catch.
Well, if you're Edmonton and we're into the 4th quarter, you're down by 10, I would say this is one of the biggest plays of the game for them.
Volpe gets to the 5, maybe the 4-yard line. Now the Lions will have to make a decision. Larry Ruck put the stop on Volpe, number 22. He's closing in on 100 yards for the night.
Draw play now. Sometimes you have to be a good actor. Ray Alexander took a bit of a break on that one. But interesting call, 2nd and 10 when you're threatening to score, running the draw. Obviously great confidence in the fact that the offensive line could open a hole for Volpe. He's a little short, but the safe thing is that Pasaglia will come in and attempt to add to their lead.
Take the safe 3 points right now.
Boy, they have worked the clock tonight, haven't they, the BC Lions? I mean, methodical drives have just wound that clock down on the Edmonton Eskimos.
Lions open a 13-point lead on the Eskimos. As a result of Louis Pasaglia's latest field goal, it's 33-20.
You know, Diet Pepsi's now for everyone. That's right, Ray. Meet my twin brother, Irv.
And our twin, Peter Irvette.
With caffeine-free Diet Pepsi, I get all that great taste, but there's no caffeine. Sing it, brother. You got the right one, baby. It's irresistibly sippable, uncontestably tasteable, and caffeine-free. You got the right one, baby.
It's 100%
Next Tuesday, 11:30 Eastern, the CFL Reporter will recap of Week 10 of the CFL, and it's just getting nicely underway here at Commonwealth tonight. The BC Lions playing exceptional football and leading the Eskimos by a bunch.
You know, Leaf, you and I often talk about teams that get a lead and then sit back in soft coverage and why they do that. Well, BC won't be doing that. In fact, they just put in a package of blitzes called Hurricane and Storm. They'll be coming from the strong side, figuring Edmonton's going to abandon the running game, and they'll be coming after Tracy Ham hard every play.
Well, that terminology dictates that they're going to send a halfback. It'll be either Tracy Gravely or Brett Young. Hurricane and Storm are the back, so we'll see if they come with that.
Who's Hurricane and who's Storm there?
It's just situational, but I can tell you that that's defensive backs coming on a blitz. Interesting to see if that's what they do to attack.
Look at these numbers on the Lions. 5 minutes, 23 seconds on that last drive for the Pasaglia field goal. On the night, the Lions have possessed the football 31 minutes, 44 seconds compared to 17:40 for the Eskimos. Edmonton 1st and 10 beginning at the 35. Ham stands in and throws, and he's too far that time.
I think the interesting statistic about the BC Lions, the last 2 drives, a total of 21 plays put together to score 10 points. That, to me, is the impressive part.
A little too long for Craig Ellis here, Lee.
Pretty good pocket for Tracy Ham to step up in, but that good bump initially by Brett Young just threw Ellis off his pass pattern enough that he couldn't get to that football.
2nd and 10. Eskimos with 2 receivers to the near side and 2 to the far side of the field. Ham has Sandusky open, and that'll be an Eskimo first down. Tracy Gravely over to make the tackle. 68 yards rushing for the Eskimos as a team tonight, so obviously they're missing Blake Marshall, who went out in the first quarter.
Look at the confusion that I formation among the receivers creates with Chris Armstrong and Sandusky. Gravely and the corner Francis have no idea who either one's going to take, so That leaves Sandusky wide open. Ham sees him, hits him, and boy, the Edmonton Eskimos have to make something happen here in a hurry.
Henry Williams does, making that reception out near the 50-yard line in front of Joe Miro. So that's over 100 yards for Henry Williams, but 72 of those yards came on one play, the touchdown in the opening quarter. 33-20, the Eskimos trailing the BC Lions, 1st and 10 Edmonton. Ham looks to the near side, man open. Chris Armstrong fights for a first down. Gravely forced him out. Number 3 for the Lions.
Slowly and methodically, Tracy Ham now is marching his team down the field, trailing by 13. I mean, that is nothing for the Edmonton Eskimos. There's over 9 minutes remaining. I think a roughing penalty will be added on, roughing the passer, so they'll pick up an extra 15, and very quickly they are putting themselves in a very nice position to get back into this game and give us what we hope will be a tremendous finish.
I think it should be at 33-20 now. And you have to believe with this Eskimo offense rolling right now, Edmonton will put some points on the board during this drive. Here comes the blitz. Ham, far side for Ellis, and it was over his head.
I think that's one Tracy Ham would like to have over. Craig Ellis ran a nice pattern on Brett Young, was wide open. But going to his left, which is the more difficult side for a right-handed quarterback to throw on the run. Tracy Ham just kind of airmailed that thing over top of Ellis' head.
2nd and 10. The Eskimos are at the BC Lions 21. Tense time for Bob Obilovich, looking for his 2nd win of the season. Blitz is on, and Ham looks to the end zone. One more time. Armstrong was the intended receiver. The coverage supplied by Francis, but Ham wasn't close.
That sets up an interesting situation now. 3rd down gamble. It looks as though Ron Lancaster's decided down by 13. He needs to get that touchdown, so they will send Jay Christensen in with a call from the bench. And well, with a little over 8 remaining, I mean, a lot of time left, but you talk about critical plays. We've had certainly a number of them here in the 4th quarter, but none bigger than this one.
3rd and 10, and the Eskimos go gambling at the BC Lion 21. They're down by 13. Ham just barely got it away. No catch, no flag. The intended receiver was Ellis. Brett Young was covering, and Ham was under great pressure.
He was, from number 36, Stuart Hill, and Stuart Hill, who's been an All-Canadian many, many times, comes through with a tremendous effort here to get the pressure at hand. Watch at the top of your screen, number 36. There he arrives right there and gets the arms around Ham, and as he is going down, he just can't get enough mustard on that football. Fans want interference, but I think, well,
he got a hand on the football, working himself around in front of Ellis.
Well,
they may talk about the gamble that did not pay off in the Eskimos' hometown tomorrow morning. 33-20, BC in front. Welcome back to Commonwealth in Edmonton. I'm John Wells, along with Julio Pedersen. Caught your act on the entertainers at halftime. We're going to get the results up here in a moment. I'm sure the girls are calling in and voting for you.
Well, I
mean, the girls at your house.
Sure.
8:09 to go. Lions first down at the 21. John Volpe. Some room to the outside. He's cut from behind by Larry Ruck. How did you do? Pedersen wins the entertainers over Troy Westwood. How many times did Kate and Alley call in for you, Julio?
I'll tell you what, not many people called in there.
Maybe it's a reflection on the singing.
Might have been. Wow, well.
I thought you were great. The tuxedo looked good. I'm glad you got it back on time.
I thought Troy was good, too.
On 2nd and 3, Volpe, and it looked for a moment like the ball popped loose. But Volpe comes up short of the first down. So the Lions are forced to kick it away. Guess who is in the center of things again for the Eskimos? Number 39, Willie Pless.
Well, you know, it's been about 3 weeks now that the Gizmo has been totally shut down. 2 in a row by Calgary. And for the most part tonight, he has had very little return yardage. About time for the Giz to make his presence felt on the punt returns. He really has been shut down the last few weeks.
No better time than right now with the Eskimos down by 13 points. Bouncing to Henry the Gizmo Williams near the 40. He loses yardage on the return, looking for a room to the outside, and he finds some. Forced out right at midfield. It looked like he gambled and lost, but outstanding speed by Henry Williams for a 21-yard return after a 41-yard punt, but he ran a lot farther than 21 yards.
But what he does as well as anybody in the league is set up his blockers. Watch now. He's going to give up some ground because he knows Mike McLean is coming to pick off Spencer McLennan. Right there, boom, great block. Now he is off and running, searching for blockers, and that is the kind of play that can give his offense a lift. They've got great field position, and with 6:47 remaining, Edmonton Eskimos, 13 points is not a lot for them to get back.
Ryan Hansen finally forced the Giz out of bounds. The Eskimos have the ball, but they're down by 13 to the line.
You know, there's real magic in Diet Pepsi. It's got that special aha ingredient.
You got the right one, baby. Diet Pepsi,
You got the right one, baby. Okay, girls. Now, what's that magic ingredient?
With 100%
A terrific Major League lineup on Sunday here on TSN, 3 o'clock Eastern. Toronto at Texas for the afternoon game. And then we'll go to Montreal for the Mets and the Expos at 8 o'clock Sunday night. The return by Henry Williams sets the Eskimos up with a first down right at midfield. The 55-yard line, 6:47 to go. Edmonton trailing 33-20. Procedure call will likely go against the Eskimos. There was movement down there, and the early indication is it was against Tracy Ham. That could be costly with time running out in the fourth quarter. The Eskimos need 2 touchdowns for the win. It'll be 1st and 15 now, back at the 50. Ham pumps once and then feeds it off to Michael Souls. Good run by Souls after making the catch. And he'll be in first down territory.
Boy, the screen against this kind of a defense is perfect. Here go the linebackers, zone coverage. You only rush 4, let them go. And then you get the screen going, and it's the perfect defense to execute the screen because now look at all the room. Hey, this turns into a pass, and now it's a running play with the blockers in front. But Tracy Ham recognized the fact that he thought BC would be a little soft on 1st and 15. He got the defense he wanted. They executed it nicely, and they almost pick all the 15 up at once.
Less than a yard to go, so it's 2nd and short. Chance to go for the bundle. Another procedure call, or at least too long getting the ball into play, so 2 errors by the Eskimos. They got the 15 back, and now they'll need more yardage on 2nd down.
They really have had some critical penalties tonight. You know, penalties have been a problem for them. They have had more penalties than any other team in the league. And tonight, a roughing call on Danny Barrett was crucial. Now a procedure call and a delay of game call. I mean, those are things that you don't expect from a first-place team.
It is now 2nd and 6. Ham has time and fired behind the intended receiver. Ellis was sliding and couldn't make the catch. Brett Young covering on Ellis with some help from Brian Smith.
Although procedure, that delay of game call looms quite large now as Ellis is not able to make the catch, falling down, and once again a third down gamble for the Edmonton Eskimos.
3rd and 6. Just shy of the BC 50. Ham has to thread the needle here. He did. Armstrong couldn't hang on. Tracy Gravely was covering on Chris Armstrong.
And Chris Armstrong as well fell down, and to Tracy Ham's credit, even though Armstrong was on the ground, he put the ball right on the money. Armstrong could have not hang on, but I mean, it's amazing to me, a team that plays all their home games on grass falls down slipping because of probably improper footwear. I simply don't understand it. On the last play, Ellis went down. That time Armstrong went down. I mean, this is to their advantage to play on grass. They know what the field's like. They know what footwear they should wear. And for them to fall down because of their not long enough cleats, I'm just totally surprised.
Less than 5 minutes to go as Barrett hands off to John Volpe. And he's barely back to the line of scrimmage. Willie Pless leading the Eskimo tacklers.
I think Danny Barrett, as he has been all game, will stay on the conservative side here. He's got second and about 11. They lost a yard there, but don't expect to see anything too spectacular here. I mean, the worst thing Danny Barrett wants to do after this play is see Lou Pasaglia come in and punt the ball away.
Barrett had room to the far side. There are markers down as Barrett completes the pass. Jordan made the tackle on Matt Clark, but there's a marker down in the Eskimo secondary. (33-20). The Lions in front of the Eskimos with 4:05 to play, fourth quarter at Commonwealth. Against the Eskimos.
And they will decline it because it was a 10-yard penalty. They picked up 11 on the Matt Clark reception. So, as they have done all night, the BC Lions just simply have been able to control the football, let the clock run, and methodically work against what has been, for the most part this year, a pretty stingy Edmonton defense.
Volpe grabs about 3. Davidson made the stop, number 96, Rob Davidson. Have to give the Lions offensive line quite a bit of credit tonight. Sinclair in the middle with Terrace and Groenwagen. The guards, Mills and Rhoda Huskers are the tackles. Groenwagen and Rhoda Huskers both playing in their 100th CFL game tonight. 100th consecutive. Clark was the intended receiver.
Clark should have had it.
Interesting when you look at those two guys. Rhoda Huskers beginning his career in Winnipeg. Groenwagen in Ottawa. And they both started 100 games ago. And they're on the BC offensive line. Yeah.
More or less. Groenwagen was the first pick in the draft by Ottawa some years ago.
3:07 to go. Lou Pasaglia gets the call. Henry Williams, the lone man back for the Eskimos. Pasaglia tried to angle it away, bouncing at the 1-yard line or right on the goal line. It'll go for a single point. And that makes it 34-20.
And that's not really what Lou Pasaglia wanted. He wanted to angle it out of bounds.
Didn't miss by much.
No.
There's the score. 2:45 to go. John Volpe has been a big part of the BC Lions' success again tonight, and even 150 yards in total offense, a couple of touchdowns. Bob Obilovich told us earlier that he wanted to get the football to John Volpe around 25 to 30 times. Well, he's on 25 right now.
Well, between John Volpe and Ray Alexander, I mean, offensively, they have been the two spark plugs tonight. And Danny Barrett's play selection has been just superb. He has kept that Edmonton defense off balance with screens and enough running mixed in with the short passing game. You look at receiving corps around the league, and there are some awfully good ones. But this BC one with Darren Flutie, Ray Alexander, Matt Clark, and Mike Trevathan, I mean, that'll rank right up there with the best ones.
I'd say so. 2:42 to go. Brian Walling. Tough running inside as Walling gets better than 5, less than 10. Stopped by O.J. Brigance.
Well, Tracy Ham needs 2 touchdowns to tie this game, 2 converted touchdowns, and really kind of surprised that he would use the running game with 2:30 remaining. He needs to get a touchdown quickly.
Second and a couple facing Ham and the Eskimos now. They're down by 34 to 20. And Ham hasn't carried the ball a great many times tonight. Broken play there.
Yeah, broken play. Somebody went the wrong way. Tracy Ham had to try and do it himself. But what this is doing is taking a lot of time off the clock, keeping the ball on the ground, and really, they're their own worst enemy with this style of offense right now. Time is imperative, and they're letting some precious seconds slip away.
Injured BC Lion, number 70, Lee Johnson, down near the 45-yard line. Will meet his old team, the Toronto Argonauts, on Saturday night at the stadium at BC Place. Ron Lancaster and the Eskimos will be in Saskatchewan against the Rough Riders on Sunday in Week 11. Those are the next 2 games for these 2 teams. And this is Students' Night here at Commonwealth. And you think they're ready?
Oh, they're getting ready to rush the football field. Gord Miller, have you got your equipment on down there? Because those kids are coming for you.
Well, I tell you what, I've been through this last year and the years before. I got my shoulder pads on, Leaf, and I wasn't dumb enough to wear the ones you gave me. Those are pretty small from your playing days.
You better borrow your buddy Blake Marshall's helmet, shoulder pads, anything you can find down there.
Hey, come on down and join me, Leaf. We'll have some fun.
I'll see you in about an hour.
Time remaining, just over 2 minutes. The Eskimos face a 2-touchdown deficit right now. They're down 34 to 20.
But as strange as it may seem with that amount of time left, Edmonton's the kind of team that you always have in the back of your mind the fact that they can do it, that they, even with that little time left, they can come back and tie this game up. They're that kind of a football team, and they've had that kind of a history.
There's definitely time on the clock. They'll have to score the first touchdown in a hurry. They don't want to give Danny Barrett back the football for any length of time. Ham with time to throw goes for the touchdown toss. And Giz has it. Check that, it's an interception by Joe Miro.
He made a great play. He made a super play, and the Giz got him early on the touchdown, and now late in the game, Joe Miro stayed right on the hip of Henry Williams and comes up with the interception. No foul of Tracy Ham. He had to try and do something like this. This is desperation time, but boy, you can't cover a receiver any better than Joe Miro did. Perfect position, nice catch, and once again another turnover. And what has been an Achilles heel for the BC Lions all season long, their defense, well, I think they have played exceptionally well this evening.
That might about do it for the Eskimos. The interception by rookie Joe Miro. Minute 58 to go, and penalty markers are down. 6 turnovers. Now this isn't going to help anything. number 36 in the center of the activity down there. There are markers everywhere on the field with a minute 58 to go. And the Lions leading the Eskimos 34-20. Long night for Ron Lancaster.
Yeah, and you have to know the Edmonton players are thinking, this is frustrating. We've come off a huge win last Monday, and now we really give something back to our season, losing to BC tonight. I mean, this is what they are thinking. I mean, give BC full credit. They played a great game, but Edmonton, on the other hand, must feel like, hey, this is one that maybe we let get away. A team that's only one game coming into our building, and we don't win the game. They're a pretty disappointed group, and I think the feelings are showing that here in the dying seconds of the game.
Stampeders can move into a tie with the Eskimos for top spot with a win over the Toronto Argonauts on Sunday in Toronto. Tough play is the call. Now we've had a little difficulty with Dave Ewell's microphone all night.
Well, somebody from Edmonton, and I believe he said number 40, disqualification. There's Benny Goods is leaving the field.
There goes Benny. Yep. So, a minute 58 to go. That time is still on the clock. BC Lions will gain on field position as a result of the penalties and the ejection.
Well, it's interesting to watch and evaluate Danny Barrett's performance tonight. It has taken him a little while to adjust to being on a new team. I mean, he had some great help in Calgary last year, and now he's adjusting slowly to the BC scheme of things, and obviously doing a much better job tonight. And I think that holds true for Doug Flutie, who went to Calgary. It's taken Flutie time to adjust to a new team, so there was a lot of pressure on Danny Barrett when he came to BC that he had to pick up where the BC Lions left off last year, and sometimes it, you know, it's just not as easy as that. And there's a lot of things that are involved, chemistry and makeup and learning the fellow players around you, and finally it's taken Danny Barrett, this is his 5th game, and he looks so comfortable tonight, but you can't do it overnight.
Another ejection here. It looks like Enos Jackson is heading for the showers. So Goods is gone. Jackson is gone. The Lions have the lead by 2 touchdowns, and Dan Barrett rolling on the run. Will be another first down for the Lions. They've really controlled the Eskimos. Ray Alexander made the catch. Alexander has had a big night. John Volpe has had a big night. Danny Barrett has put it all together for the Lions. After losing 8 in a row, the Lions are on the verge of their 2nd straight win. A minute 35 remaining. Here comes Volpe again. 1 tackle shed. Little dance at the 21-yard line. He has 2 touchdowns already. Wayne Odom finally over to make the tackle. So there's no Benny Goods in there, and they're also short Enos Jackson in the Eskimos secondary.
But that play was very typical of the play of the entire game tonight. The BC Lions just literally won the battle with the big guys up front and created some wonderful holes for John Volpe, created a nice pocket for Danny Barrett to throw from all night long. And, you know, as we said at the beginning of the show, that would probably dictate who would win this game.
Ryan Hansen this time. Bounced off 1 tackle, but Larry Ruck had enough of them to slow him down. Sending the signals at the far side, backup quarterback Michael Johnson. Less than a minute to go. Sorry, Lee.
You got to feel happy for Bob Abilovich. He struggled through an 0-8 start. Now he wins a couple of games back-to-back, and kind of nice. Hope he's persevered and kept his normally good attitude through all of this.
John Volpe again. Volpe a good cut. He is down inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. Lions can score again. Larry Ruck on the tackle.
interesting about this, BC now obviously with their second win, and boy, you look around the league, and BC obviously the first 8 games of the season, you looked at them and you put the W in the win column, but now there is tremendous parity throughout the league. Like, nobody is going to have an easy game for the rest of the season.
Volpe with 132 yards on the night, lost a couple there.
And not to say that BC wasn't competitive early, but they, quite frankly, on defense just struggled and struggled and struggled, and most teams looking at them would say, hey, this is a game we should win. But now, I don't think any longer that's going to be the case. They have toughened up that defense, and the offense certainly indicated tonight that they are willing, they can play with anybody.
Well, it helps to have Barrett back, and Alexander was a big factor as well. And neither of those players were around for most of the early going this season.
And here come the kids.
Yeah, it's over, folks.
There they go.
Volpe finishes with 24 carries, 129 yards, a couple of touchdowns. And a mob scene on the field, but it looks all very friendly down there. The Eskimo fans would like a little more to cheer about tonight. They had a pretty good night at Commonwealth.
Well, it was simple. The game, Edmonton obviously flat from the beginning to the end. They had one flash of brilliance in the third quarter where they got a turnover, scored a touchdown, and it looked as though at that point they might find themselves back in this game, but Danny Barrett on a 10-play, 73-yard touchdown drive really took any wind that was in the sails of the Edmonton Eskimos away, and of course Bob Abilovich and his crew go on to win their second game of the season, and in fine fashion. They look very impressive.
You're absolutely right. Both sides of the ball, too, Leif. We talked about Danny Barrett being at the controls, engineering long drives, controlling the football, eating up the clock, using Alexander effectively, and John Volpe. But defensively, I thought that this might be the best game of the season for the BC Lions defense. And without going out on a limb, you could likely say it really was, because they played a pretty good football team offensively and shut down the Eskimos.
Yeah, they played an aggressive game, too. Guys like Brian Smith and Doug Hawking made good plays. O.J. Bergance made some key tackles. So, defensively, there was no question they played their best game of the year. And Gord Miller is with a pretty happy head coach.
Yeah, we're here with Bob Abilovich amidst the pandemonium. Bob, congratulations, 2 in a row. You're on a roll.
Well, it's a lot better than losing, that's for sure, Gord. We had a good week of preparation, and we finally got something going last week, and the guys are starting to believe now. We've improved people in our secondary, and now we're starting to look like a pretty good football team.
John Merrill had the tough time right away, but really played very well for you the rest of the way.
He slipped on that first play, and there was a little confusion on the formation, and I think he was a little out of position. But then when he went to break on the ball, he slipped, and then Gizmo got outside. He looked good all week in practice, and he looked good enough that I didn't have any second thoughts about not playing him, because he's covered as good as anyone we've brought in here.
Tell me about the interception by Tracy Gravely, what that meant to the squad.
Well, he's got long arms, and he's a big defensive back, and it's hard to lay that ball over the top on him. Some of those short guys we were playing with earlier in the season would have probably got beat on that.
John Volpe, you talked about him when we spoke to you this morning. You talked about the importance of him. Tell us about his touchdown run here in the first half.
Well, we caught him in the defense they were in. They were in 6 DBs. We ran a draw play and got a nice hole in there just from that set alone. And when John gets around the goal line, he usually gets it in there.
Were you surprised at how well you ran the ball against them?
No. We've run the ball pretty well all year. We think we have a good offensive line and good backs. Ryan Hansen really messed up on that one when he missed ruck, and they got the fumble in the second half. Otherwise, our running game would have been pretty outstanding.
Is it fair to say, Bob, that this is the kind of game that this football team might have lost, say, 3-4 weeks ago?
Oh, no question about it, because personnel-wise, we weren't as good as we are right now. Getting Danny back in the lineup and Ray Alexander and improving our secondary, that's all the difference in the world. And, people that don't know the business don't understand some of these things. They're criticizing us for making changes in the secondary, but we were terrible in the secondary. You got to get better, and now I think we're better.
Brian Smith has really made himself a factor in the middle. Last week, that calling card against the Ottawa Rough Riders, and they didn't really throw over the middle much against you guys. Do you feel like you're getting pretty close to having the kind of personnel you want?
Well, I was really happy to see our two linebackers, Doug Hocking and Paul Wetmore, play as well as they did, because that really allows us to play an American in the middle. Because if we can't play those guys, we can't afford the luxury of an import in the middle. But as long as we're playing well with those guys, then we got a guy back in the middle there that can intimidate some people.
OB, I know you'll say you're going to take it one game at a time. Can this team make the playoffs?
Well, there's still a lot of games to play yet, and if we get a few breaks, or maybe somebody else runs into a lot of bad luck like we did at the beginning, maybe some of those things will happen. But that's all we're doing right now. We're just trying to give our fans something to cheer for when we play at home, and I hope we have a big crowd there when we go back home against Toronto.
OB, congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Bob Obilovich, the head coach of the BC Lions, who have now won 2 straight. A big win over the Edmonton Eskimos tonight at Commonwealth Stadium. OB still hasn't lost here. Back with more from Edmonton in just a moment. Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you tonight by Apple Auto Glass. It comes in the third quarter. The Eskimos are driving, but not for long. Tracy Ham goes back to pass and is intercepted on an outstanding defensive play. He's picked off by Tracy Gravely, who reaches out with the long arms and makes the snag. The Lions go on to hammer the Eskimos at Commonwealth Stadium. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Apple Auto Glass. Apple Auto Glass saves you money on stone chip windshield repair. As the kids continue to mill around on the field here at Commonwealth Stadium, the Eskimos are a pretty dejected bunch, and the Lions couldn't be happier as they sit in their dressing room. For more thoughts on tonight's game, let's go to John and Lee.
Turnovers turned to be a big part of the story for the British Columbia Lions victory tonight. There were 6 in total, 3 interceptions, 2 by Tracy Gravely, and Ham hasn't been intercepted a lot this season.
No, he only had thrown 8 coming into this game, so 3, obviously a very high number, and there's a couple of factors and reasons why he did that. The running game, he lost Blake Marshall, and so that killed the running game early, so now he has to throw more. He takes more chances, consequently interceptions. But you know what the interesting thing to me about the 3 interceptions that the BC Lions secondary was able to pick off tonight, they only had 7 after 9 previous games coming in here. So 3 tonight is, I mean, you talk about an improved area of your team. That has to be it, the secondary.
Well, they've been working on the secondary, and perhaps they have finally found the right combination. We talked earlier about the Lions having 18, maybe 19 guys. They lost count as to the number of guys who'd started in the secondary in 1992.
Well, I think Bob Obilovich's chat with Gord Miller indicated that I think he finally has found the right group, a nice blend of people that can cover man-to-man. Tracy Gravely certainly showed you that tonight, but you know, we blew a lot of smoke for Brian Smith in the middle tonight, but he was a factor. You didn't see Chris Armstrong and Craig Ellis going with a lot of authority through that middle, so his presence was felt. And you know, to me, it's really heartening to see a team like BC, who has just been kicked around all season, finally come back and put 2 back-to-back impressive wins together. And it's good for the league, because now there is no easy team. Every game is going to be a tough game.
All right, so the Lions do make it 2 in a row, and they do so against what is arguably the best football team in the nation. Gord?
Yeah, John, you can make that argument pretty easily, but right now the BC Lions look not so bad themselves. And John Volpe, the man we told you about at the start of our telecast, the man who is on pace to break the record for touchdowns in a season, scored a couple here tonight. This is Volpe's second of the evening. He did fumble in the second half of this football game and was upset with himself, but he more than made up for it. Tonight, John Volpe, 24 carries, 129 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. To add to it, he caught 4 passes for a total of 51 yards. This guy was the Rookie of the Year last year in the Canadian Football League. You recall he beat out Rocket Ismail, and he's strutting his stuff once again in 1992. John Volpe, Bob Obilovich told us, is a major part of this BC offense. He shone tonight, as opposed to the Eskimos, whose running game struggled. Blake Marshall, their star fullback, the outstanding Canadian last year, was injured on the first series, did not return, and Edmonton clearly missed him. So it's BC over the Eskimos, and we'll be back to wrap it up from Commonwealth Stadium when we return in just a moment. After a big win on Monday on Labor Day, Edmonton appeared to have a stranglehold in the Western Division. But look out, the Stamps have a chance to tie Edmonton is now 7-3 and is only a half game ahead of the Calgary Stampeders in the Western Division. We'll be back with more from Commonwealth Stadium when our CFL Game of the Week continues in just a moment. On a night of fireworks at Commonwealth Stadium, BC provided most of them, beating Edmonton 34-20. The Lions' second straight win is also their second of the season. Our next game on TSN comes your way from this very spot. The Hamilton Tiger Cats and their tough defense take on the Eskimos September 25th at 9:30 Eastern Time. A meeting of the two teams that right now, anyway, are in first place in East and West. The CFL Game of the Week on TSN has been brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it. For all of us at TSN, I'm Gord Miller. Good night from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton.